Welcome to the Drawn to Your Story podcast, where the interviews are reimagined into illustrations. I'm your host, Maddie Mitchell, and I'm chuffed to be sharing episode 3 with Steve Choate. Not only do we go over a few of the massive adventures Steve had said yes to, we tackle a few of life's biggest questions. Are there aliens? Which month is the best month to be in the firefighter calendar? And oh yeah, and how Steve says yes to more adventures and how you can too. So let's dig in. Get into this. All right. Welcome, Steve Choate. Thank you for being my third test subject on Drawn to Your Story. We're going to... Oh, sorry, I should let you...
Thanks, Maddie. This has been a good start. Let's keep rolling.
God, I've already blown it. All right, so what we're going to do is do a quick 3 questions.
Cool.
And you can just fire them off. You don't have to do anything. How many countries have you travelled to?
Oh, mate, tricky question. Maybe, don't know, haven't counted them. I'm going to guess... maybe 20, 25 as a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a fair amount, right?
Yeah, it might be less than that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe about there.
What's the... I feel like this is... I've heard this. You've travelled to Antarctica?
Yeah. I went to Antarctica in 2014. I did my first marathon down there.
Oh,
so
that's
that
right.
That was my dad's idea.
Is your dad really adventurous as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
It goes back in the family.
Oh, wait.
But
are you going to say like your like great grandfather was Thomas Cook or something like that?
Oh man, it's funny. Like Dad's, because of all the stuff that's happening with COVID, Dad's at home doing this big family history project, and I'm super interested in it. And he's a good writer anyway, but this is like his
passion project.
Oh, he's doing a really good job with it, and the stuff we're finding out about our family. And you think you know, and then you find this little arm that comes off it, and you kind of not reevaluate, but it just gives a little bit more framework to, I don't know, how you end up here and maybe why you do some of those things. But really cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
Personally, I have very little interest in that. Maybe as I get older, I will.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just like, cool, whatever. Like that stuff's all back there. I'm going forward.
Yeah, I know. I find it fascinating. I just think it's good to, not that it changes anything.
Yeah.
But you get an idea about where you come from.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe like I understand genetics a little bit, and so when I look at it as how you've got all that history in you effectively.
Yeah.
And you're kidding yourself if it doesn't mold you to a certain degree.
Oh yeah, there has to be something, right?
So it's kind of I find it really like maybe like the tail of an arrow shooting you somewhere. But,
oh wow, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, but it kind of made sense.
It made sense to me. As soon as you said it, I got it, so it worked.
So you still get to decide where it goes.
Yeah, I like it.
But just like
that, it's just holds the guide a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Would you prefer to receive a text or a phone call?
Who from?
Oh, I didn't think of that. I was just thinking just in general. Like your phone starts buzzing. Are you going...
Probably get more anxiety when it rings.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm like, give me a text message.
I might be doing something else and no. All's good.
All's good.
To be honest, it's on silent 99% of the time.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it interrupting.
Yeah.
Not on my terms.
Yeah. No, I get that. I appreciate when someone gives me a phone call. Like a few of the cats, like my mate Mitch, he's like really, if you're texting more than 2 texts, he's just like, I'm just going to call you.
Yeah, for sure. If you're already engaged.
Yeah. And I appreciate that so much. And then, but there's some cats where I'm like, I'm texting, but they'll leave the text for so long. They would rather a phone call, but I'm like, I'm like balancing kids. I'm doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's text it out for over this hour sort of thing.
I don't know.
But the young kids though, they're all about FaceTime.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think because my gut feeling would be that they'd be more text, but it's a lost art, like communicating. So
yeah,
I think that's really good.
I think it is as well, especially like FaceTime or any of that stuff where they're just like chatting face to face, and it's like somehow connects people back together a little bit more than just a text.
Oh, you can see you need to, so much of what you're trying to tell someone, you're not using words.
Yeah.
Is that the kettle?
Yeah. Yeah. Gillian's decided to come into the kitchen.
That's awesome. Hey, just so I can break your train of thought.
Yeah.
Congrats on your new book, mate. Your collaboration, Zombie Teachers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really excited to check it out.
It'll be fun when it comes out. I think it should be coming out later in a couple of months. I think before Halloween for sure. So
cool. I had a quick look at a couple of sketches, man. They're amazing.
When later on, if we get a chance, if I don't chew your ear off too long, I'll show you some of the originals back here.
Is that not so? Because you did the Adventures of the Sock.
Yeah,
I've got the name wrong, but that's
the Adventures of the Missing Sock.
Was that a two-part series, or that was a one-off?
It's actually a 5-part series, but I've only got
I'm
two
behind
done.
the 8 ball.
No. I've only got 2 of them done. I've got 3 in my mind still.
Cool.
But I haven't. I've tried to get it published, but I think I need to sort of tweak it and stuff like that. And I self-published the other 2.
I've got the first one.
Yep.
Got the first one.
So then, the one that is through Zombie Teachers is through a publisher called Larrikin House.
Yep.
And the author is Siggy Cohen, and he's pretty well known he did My Dead Bunny, and it's like this really a bit darker of a sort of book for kids, but it's really cool.
Zombie Teachers is maybe dark.
Yeah, it could be like some of the drawings I did were a lot more gruesome, and I had to wind them back a little bit.
Yeah.
But
it'd be hard, I reckon. And this is something you're good at, but you're looking at who's looking at that. And, and I don't know how you tell the difference between, what do kids' eyes see?
Yeah.
And what you see.
Yeah.
And what you want them.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I had the publisher and the project manager had a good idea of what they sort of wanted from the level of gruesomeness. So
it's a scale.
Yeah. It's like how much like slime is, or like is there blood, or are you just using green, or what color is the brains if you're going to have any?
Yep.
Are you going to go a lot of dark shadows?
Yeah.
Make it really
okay.
So there's those early on in the brief, they sort of stated what they wanted, and so it sort of shifted a little bit, but it was pretty good communication of what we all wanted. And so,
how long does it take to to draw that, to put it all together where you're happy, and you're probably never always happy?
I don't think anyone
abandon the edit.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is ever super happy on. I would say this: you get stoked that you've got something out there, but if you're not thinking that I could have made something a little bit better, not to be down on yourself, but like I could progress, then you're never going to progress. You're going to just stay that way. So in my brain, I may be hard on something, but I'm not being hard in the sense of like, oh man, like, I could always be better and be grumpy at myself. No, it's like, no, it's just about moving it.
But you don't get hung up. You'll still go, yep, this is it.
There's got to be a point where
you got to let it go.
Yeah, in the design world, we used to just call it ship it. Okay, you just got to ship it out.
Yeah,
so
it's really that's a cool way of putting it. I've got a good mate, and he puts like TV and film together. Yeah, and his whole thing is he calls it abandoning the edit. He's like, you're never finished. He's like, you can work forever on this. Yeah, at some point you have to go. You never finish a project, you abandon.
Oh wow,
the edit, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
But you got to ship it.
Yeah, got to ship it. And so there's sometimes some of the things where I look back now, I'm like, oh, I should have spent more time on this, or then your brain thinks of a better angle to look at it from, and you're like, I can't go back and do that. I've got to move forward on.
Do you test it? Do you get feedback? Do you show your kids, or is it kind of like this is what it's going to be? And
it's such a tricky situation because your kids and your wife and people you know are biased towards you, so they're not giving you an objective eye. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they also can give you a confidence boost and make you get through that stage that you may not have gotten through.
But you can't. But I can understand that with your wife, but kids can't. Kids will be honest, surely.
They're honest to a degree, but like my daughter, she just thinks I'm the best drawer there ever was. Like she'll see a painting, like it might be the Mona Lisa, right? And she'll be like, "Oh, you could do that. You got that."
She'd be on a skateboard.
Yeah, exactly. She'd be doing Mona Lisa doing a kickflip back tail.
Yeah, exactly.
So, already sidetracked.
Yeah, I like it.
The other thing is the next question is, I should just can these because we just go on biggest tangents. But anyway, they're good though.
No, we're good.
Have you ever been starstruck?
Once.
Yeah.
Once. And I didn't think it would happen. And I was
Yeah.
pretty surprised when it happened. I was in Byron Bay, and we'd been over there I think we're on the Goldie or something for surf lifesaving. We always go down for the last decade. We'd go down to Byron for after the comp.
Yep.
Just with a few mates and just unwind, have some fun. And I was sitting in a cafe, and Kelly Slater walked in.
No way.
So he walked in, and there was maybe four people in this cafe.
Yep.
And he walked in, and I was like, I know who that guy is.
Yep.
And it was a really weird reaction.
Yep.
Because I'm not interested in stardom. But I'm really, I really respect athletes at the top of the sport and people who are at that level. So I was really interested then.
Hang on. For people who don't know that would be listening, Kelly Slater is a professional surfer that's been professional for 20 plus years, but at the top of the game for 20 plus years. Not like he's dipped and slumped or whatever. Like he's just been on fire.
Oh man, and what that guy has done to rewrite what you can do at particular ages.
Yep.
And there's a lot going on with that guy. So I was, it happened. And I was like, oh, this is a weird feeling. And then Miley Cyrus walked in behind him because I think she was that Hemsworth guy. I didn't know who she was. So this girl walks in, and we smiled at her, and then my mate's like, "Do you know who that is?" I'm like, "No, but Kelly Slater's just out there." She's like, "That's Miley Cyrus." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, she's a singer, right?" He's like, "Man, you're an idiot." But but that's it. Only one time. Only one time. Interesting reaction.
Yeah, the one time I had a similar thing is I was on the plane. I was the row before first class, just after first class. So there's a kitchen and toilet sort of between us. I'd been sitting next to these two guys that are chewing my ear off for a 14-hour flight, right? And so I'm waking. There was a younger cat next to me, like he's like 8 or 9, but he'd wake me up and be like, "Hey Matt, what are you watching?" and stuff like that. I think I'd spoken to them. We'd chatted about me working at Nintendo, so they were kind of excited. I shouldn't have said it. And so as soon as they're like ding, I didn't have anything stored up. I just had my bag.
Yeah.
So I just jump up and I'm like leaning. I'm so unbelievably tired. I'm leaning against the wall, but I'm just staring straight ahead. And there's this girl, and she's putting on her jacket, and it's like sort of taking a bit of time. And she just puts on her lipstick, and you can see she's trying to get sort of ready. And I'm like, but no idea what's happening. Like my brain is just seeing fog.
Yeah.
And this person.
Autopilot.
Yep. It starts coming into focus, and I can see that the person's looking at me because I'm just there and I'm just looking straight ahead. It turns out that it's Taylor Swift. She smiles at me, and I then go, it all just sort of snaps into who it is. And I'm like, oh, dang. Now she thinks I've just been staring straight at her. And I'm like, oh, no.
And she liked it, Matty.
No. I always tell people that's the time we almost dated.
From row K to row M, we had a moment.
Yeah, exactly. Across 74 people.
Yeah, she's looking at who she put her seat back on for the entire flight. This idiot. Don't you think it's funny, though? And from that one time, I'm sure people would see Killer Singer or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just what happened. But you know how they talk about that magnetism? Some of those people have.
Yeah.
And clearly it only works if you know who they are or they mean something to you, obviously on some level. But what I found wherever I was sitting, and this is what I remember, is no matter where you looked around the room, you could almost draw a line from you to them. Distance and proximity became a really, really aware of it.
Aware of it, yeah.
Hyper aware. And it was... I don't know, obviously because that's where your attention's going at the exclusion of all your other monkey mind. I just thought it was really interesting. Like you could not be looking, but you just knew they were there. And you could almost you could gauge that distance really, really, really easy. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that as well.
But on that moment, I was so foggy, and then she walked out and was sort of seemed to be smiling nicely towards me, but I was just at that point, just darting my head around, I was not trying to look at you. Yeah. So I was almost trying to avoid it a little bit, out of sort of like I wasn't being that creep
Same.
staring at you.
Yeah.
But I've been in other situations where famous people have been sort of around, whether it's been in LA or I've met like Michael Franti and stuff like that. But I get that feeling where you're like sort of, and even before
Spearhead?
yeah, and other cats like up in Seattle and stuff like that. But where I've known who they are, and then it's sort of a part of me is like I want them to have noticed me or acknowledged me, like that we have this
I want them to acknowledge how cool I am around them, and that I'm not giving them attention.
Exactly. There's something like that, right?
Hey, Maddie, I just wanted to come up to you. I'm Michael Franti and say thanks for being the most respectful person in the proximity around me.
Yeah, here's some backstage tickets. Yeah. Let's hang out. You're like, we're going to be best buds. Can
I pre-order a copy of that Zombie Teacher's book?
I can't take that drink. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to spit that out. Okay. So we've both been starstruck. I think once I've probably been more. I think.
I think
there's a little bit. Well, only because I think I'm a bit more infatuated, not until like a crazy degree, but like with a little bit with celebrity, like a guilty pleasure I would have, and I don't know why. Yeah. Is have you heard of TMZ?
Yes.
Yeah. So it would only happen was this back when I was living in the States? And about every month or every like 3 months, I would get this urge to stay up late and watch like TMZ at 12:30 at night. And then I'd feel satisfied, and then I would be good for like ages. Like, and then I'd be like, oh man.
What is it?
At TMZ?
No. What, why?
I have no idea. Like I guess a part of it's probably because I want to be that person of that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I've always liked attention. Like it's not like I've been like shy of it.
I don't know what it. Yeah, true, but you do it in a good way.
I don't know. I've ran around a nude a lot.
Yeah. There's good attention and there's bad attention, man. That's cheap attention.
Yeah, exactly.
We can respect you for for what you put out now, but I don't know.
Not what I used to put out, I guess.
I don't know, man. I think it's a really interesting topic, and when all these people exist in the world, and I don't know, and maybe this is a bit of reflection on how we see maybe life or people.
Yeah.
All those and this is it's kind of like the reaction you have when Robin Williams died, or people that are really well known die, like that connection that you have with them, and you do, and like the question, why do you have it?
Well, I actually when that happens, I have very far disconnection. So when I see people posting on Facebook or friends being like, oh man, that was so heavy, I love that thing, I'm really moved. But maybe it's someone hasn't died that has impacted me enough.
Maybe that's it. But I don't know. I think it's a mortality thing as well.
Yeah.
Like you realise it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, it's
it
coming
doesn't
for
matter
you.
if you're Miley Cyrus or hang on. I wanted to say Taylor Swift. That was my story. It doesn't matter if you're Taylor Swift, on the plane with Maddie.
Yeah.
Like that's it. You're the same. And but there's I don't know. I don't like the.
Have you ever played into the thought that we're in a simulation?
Yeah.
But so, well, here we go again.
Let's go.
Here. So here's a simulation, right? The question: are you in your own simulation, and you're like, oh man, I'm happy with my life is in my own simulation, or would you be happier where you're like, hey, this is, let's say, Elon Musk's simulation, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just playing around. I get to like build whatever I want at go these crazy adventures, and then we're just one of the characters in his simulation.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really good question. I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
And there's, oh man, how long do you want this to be? You can go down the path where people think this is a simulation.
Yeah,
and even for those people that think that, and I'm not saying that's what I think, but for the concept.
Let's put our tinfoil hats on though first.
There it is. It's on. It's just really snug, Maddie. It's really snug. It doesn't actually change anything. Like the reality is still your reality.
Yeah.
Now, if from the question, like, is it if this is my simulation, I'm stoked because the creativity is off the charts. Like, I don't think that, like, if I had the ability to, I think a couple of things happen in my dreams, and Hey, remember that time I went on Maddie Mitchell's podcast and it got weird? I do. Anyway, this is not where I thought we were going, but we'll go there. So in my dream, and I'll wake up and something so creative has happened in that dream.
Yeah.
Where I'm witnessing it in the dream. And I wake up, and once you get past that fog, and lucky enough to remember your dream, and you go, I created that. That was in me.
Or did it? Did it? If you're in someone else's simulation, maybe they're just a program.
Do you dream? Yeah. Good point. But let's take a
go
step back and for a moment pretend that is this. It's all what we think it is.
Yeah.
And it's weird enough to be a simulation, by the way. But I think that I thought of that.
Yeah.
Something in me thought of that, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And it's happened with music as well. Like I've dreamt music that isn't anything that's out there.
Yeah.
And I used to get really frustrated because I couldn't write it down.
Yeah.
I could hum the tune, but there was so many things going on with it that I couldn't capture it. I'm like, oh man, that's amazing, but it's lost forever.
On a side tangent on that, this side tangent. Have you heard the theory of like, with universal thought, that all these ideas, music, books, illustrations, app ideas or whatever, right? That they're all just floating around there. So they land on you.
Yep.
And then people have been like, let's say they're, I think the Eat, Pray, Love lady has a TED talk about this.
Elizabeth Gilbert.
Is that it? And she talks about where she's driving along, this idea pops in her head and she goes, either fuck off or stick around.
Cool.
Because I'm driving. I can't write you down right now. So either stick around or go. And I've been at night and I've had that sort of thing where I'm like, what am I to do? I'm half asleep.
Are they all drawing? Are they all drawing?
No, like as you know, I've had like my own apps. I've had a bunch of different ideas that I've sort of tried to execute on. And some of the ideas I'd just be like, that's not for me. That's a great idea. And I might shoot the shit with someone and tell them about it. But I'm not going to be like, I'm going to execute on that because I just don't have the drive to be finding a coder or someone else to do this.
People don't understand how much energy, time and effort goes into bringing things into reality.
Yeah.
And
even if you have access to 95% of the stuff you need for it, it's so much time. Even this podcast.
Everything. Anything significant, however you want to define that. But it's and whatever you take on is in the space of something else that you could be doing. So that becomes a difficult topic in itself. But man, I don't know if we're in a simulation.
I know.
Your simulations would be pretty interesting, I reckon.
Well, I think
maybe we are.
I would be bummed if I was in my simulation. I think if it was if I found I was in someone else's, I'd be like I'd be bummed, but I'd be like, well, I didn't have a chance to execute on all these ideas I had earlier.
How do you know?
I don't know.
What if you had to do that to do what you're doing now? What if that was the only way that could happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't mess with the Matrix.
I know. I can't mess with all the falling numbers.
Then you don't meet Jill, and then
there's so much of that stuff. And like not having my kids, or adopting my son when I did at the time, that became like that is such a timing thing. Or having
everything
Hazel,
only works because of what's happened.
Yeah,
that's I know. There's some.
But then I think you could get into like time travel talk. Like, if you step on a bug, does it ruin? Like stuff.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Never ending.
Okay.
Good loop.
I'm gonna. Far out. I really want to go to another question on this stuff. I'm gonna go.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just one more.
One more. So this, the president or the CIA in the States just said they have an unidentified flying object. They've released it of footage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe there's UFOs?
So this is the
what do you
stuff
believe
that
in aliens?
came out last week.
Yeah, last week.
3 videos.
The distraction.
They were already out.
Yeah,
and, they were just clarifying that they had them.
Wasn't it Tom from Blink-182 on his?
Oh yeah, do you know? Yeah, so he's really into it.
Yeah,
he's really into it. That's his whole thing. He obviously had Angels and Airways.
Yeah,
and his whole thing is
Yeah, he's got a whole like website and
Yeah,
business
that's right.
on
Yeah,
it.
to the stars or something. But he, all that footage was already out,
Yeah.
and then they just came out to say
Said
basically
it's real footage.
that was real footage. What it is.
So do you believe
is up
that
to you.
there's UFOs and aliens?
Do I?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Oh, however you want to classify them. I think like the universe blows my mind, to be very
Me
very
too.
honest. And if it doesn't, then I don't think maybe you've really contemplated where you sit in the soup bowl.
Yeah.
But it's infinite. It's infinite, and if something's infinite, then And I really struggle when I go onto YouTube and that video comes up and it shows Earth. Have you seen this?
No.
And then it starts panning out, and then you see our solar system.
Yeah.
And then you see the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
And you're like, and your mind's already blown because you've seen the size of the sun, and then that disappears. And then that solar system, we go back again, and there's millions of them. Yeah. And then you go back again, and there's more, and it's just, and this is the known universe.
Yeah.
It's not theory. It's not this is what they've mapped, and you just. I don't know.
How can you contemplate it? You know what I mean?
It's
hard to contemplate how much water is on this Earth.
Oh, let alone
like a whale, like a blue whale eating 17 million krill a day, right? And you're like,
gotta get those krill.
Yeah, gotta get those krill. But how is there 17 million krill? Like there has to be billions upon billions, trillions of krill just to feed these whales. Let alone how many stars are in.
Oh, and that creature decided to eat the smallest,
thing,
as well.
Right?
Just like didn't feel big enough already.
It's just dominating them.
So I don't know. Yeah, watch that video, Matty.
Yeah, I will.
Don't have anything planned for a little while after it. It's it's humbling.
I watched the Cosmos series.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Far out. That was so good.
That guy.
Yeah. And it was really well done. Like it felt like the way they put it into a timeline of like this is how long Earth's been, like
13.8 billion years.
Yeah,
and you rattle that off as if you understand it, but oh man, like we're
nothing.
We've only just turned up.
And the fact that we like, even if like, well, I think climate change is real and everything, like humans are impacting, but let's say that we don't fix it. In 1,000 years, whether there's humans or not, the Earth's going to keep going. Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not about the Earth. The Earth's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about us being here.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, we'll go down another route, but exactly.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We've gone sidetracked. Let's get back.
It's always going to happen, mate.
Yeah, I know. And I think part of me is kind of like, do I just stop trying to plan the...
Here's the thing. If you don't have a plan, you wouldn't have had this nice sidetrack because you've got this nice thing to come back to.
It's hard. Oh, like, do I just go through these like questions that are just trigger questions that flow you down a waterfall of thought, or do I try and structure an actual one? So I'm sort of toying around with that, or maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll do one where it's an interview and then I have people on and be like, hey, we're just going to shoot the breeze and see how this goes.
It's good.
But so. To be honest, didn't know how to go about your interview, right? And more for the fact of like, do I just pick one of your adventures and just go through that and see what your process was like that? But your adventures vary so much. So as we spoke about earlier, you've been to Antarctica, you have you're a firefighter, you have walked camels across the desert. You have been on television for Australian Ninja Warrior, and a gamut in between because you've travelled everywhere and do that. But the three I want to hit is walking the camels, being a firefighter, and the contrast of being on national TV, almost butt naked, climbing across some jungle gym obstacles. And how those sort of come to your life.
Cool, Matty.
Where I think we should start is being a firefighter, and we'll just dabble in that a little bit.
Anything.
And then we'll go lead through.
Yeah, cool.
So, how did you become a firefighter? Was it a childhood dream, or was it something that sort of popped up later in life as an opportunity?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I thought about it for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Every kid thinks about it, but then I think it's an illusion to think that's the only thing you think about. You think about everything. But I kind of put it on the back burner. I thought about it again. Early 20s. I went to uni. I was doing some other stuff. Anyway, I studied, graduated, worked, did 10 years kind of doing, sports science and exercise physiology and corporate health, and worked away. But I was working up north, and they had an emergency response team. And I'm still really, really interested in that side. And so it's pretty cool. I can come to work and still, and do this as well. Yeah, because we're remote. Did that and mate, loved it, and almost looked forward to going to work, more so for that, half a day or 1 day of training. Oh, wow, yeah. And maybe what I was doing for my real job. Yeah. And I thought, I haven't lost a bug. I've got to go and do it.
At what age is this making this decision?
Yeah, sure, 30.
30?
Yeah.
Is that a late start for firefighters? Or
I thought it might have been, but now that I'm in, not.
Oh, really? So I still got a chance.
Oh, yeah. You've got a good track record, mate. You've been on the other side of it. I want to talk about that if we can later, but maybe I don't know. That's up to you. But maybe we will talk about it. So we had guys who were 40.
Oh, wow.
I've seen guys, 42, 43 in academy. Wow. I think not gone are the days, but they might have moved away from really, really young crew getting in. And there is some 20, 21-year-olds. Yeah. But to be very honest with you, I think it's good to have a bit of life experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the value of life experience is outweighing the fitness of people, or these 45 or 42-year-olds like still pretty fit?
Oh yeah, there's still a standard. Yeah. You still have to meet a standard. Yeah. That's not hard. Yeah. If you're active, that's fine. That's not a big deal. No, so that's not a.
To be fair, people who are listening, you're super fit and super ripped. So people that's going to come up later on.
Sometimes, Matty, I don't use those words.
You might not use them, but I will. You're not ones that sort of showing it off. You're not like the.
I've got a very loose fitting t-shirt on.
You're wearing a moo right now, just to cover it up.
That's right. We're both in Ugg boots, and that's all.
I do have a thong on, but it's sparkly. I want to dress up.
My two off.
Well, now that we've been showing off, one of the things that you have got to do being a firefighter is you've got to do the iconic firefighter calendar shot, right?
You choose if you want to go down that path.
And what do you get to choose your month?
No.
Oh yeah. No, what month did you get?
Oh, we're casting our mind back a while, Matty.
Right. Like you don't have 7 of these up in your room.
I don't have one. It's funny, and it's really funny. How do I put this? Like you're sitting across the table from me. Yeah. And the thought process that you think someone has about what they do, I think that's really interesting. But yeah, you get a sign as I think 4 years ago. Yeah. December, Matty.
You got that's the big month.
End of the year. That's where they tuck the average.
That's the one that's got
everyone's back.
That's the one that's on the fridge that has every day marked out because you're so busy in that month. They're just
so busy. There's no time to look at what's on.
Oh yeah, they're so stoked,
page, Matty. Yeah.
I feel like if you get a May, you're like, what happens in May?
What happens mid-year? Yeah. Now January disappears.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
But that's the first one you get. Yeah, you probably got it for Christmas off someone. You probably got it someone got it off their aunt, and they're like, oh yeah, sweet. Now if you're the first one, bang, chody straight on the wall.
Then it's a rough year. It's a rough year. I really like what those guys, the guys that run it. They raise a lot.
It's so awesome that they do that.
They really do a good job. They do. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's all it is, right?
That is all it is.
What they need, I don't know if they do it, but they need to do firefighters with baby animals, and just
do it, Matty.
Yeah, You pitch that to your dudes and just be like,
I'll
hey,
pitch it to my dudes.
next year it's just firefighters and baby animals.
Done.
Heck, that's the best.
It's, well, yeah, double run.
Double run. That one there, doubling their money.
Except knowing we'd be focusing on the animals. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the animals.
Just puppies, mate.
Just two little
puppies.
chickens.
All right, it's good. We'll do it.
So with this crude sense of humor that we've just been going through, I assume that with being a fighter, you have to see the best and the worst of people. How do you stay motivated to continue? And I imagine that there's some sort of like dark sense of humor that you guys might have that maybe the public doesn't want to sort of see, but you guys might be driving off going like, oh dang, like that guy like shat himself or something like that. Maybe, and you don't have to get in that if you don't want to, but how do you guys process the stuff that you go through to make it to the next day?
Yeah, okay, cool. That's a good question. I don't really talk about work much to, I talk about it with people I work with.
Yeah.
But, that's not true. I'll talk about, overarching,
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But, it's not that you see the best and the worst in people. Maybe
not.
police do that, but I know the sentiment of what you mean. You have some good days and some bad days.
Yeah, or maybe more like you get to see, maybe the best and worst in people, maybe it's the situations you see. So you might see...
That can be having a pretty bad day.
Yeah, or even, not people, even just like you're rescuing someone out of a car crash, right? Like, you might be then helping kids at a school going through. So you're seeing the best and worst
one thing you do is you see the spectrum of society.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. There's some really good people out there, man. Some really good people out there. And there's some people that that unfortunately the way you're interacting with them, they're having a bad day. I mean, like, can we talk about your history? Like, is that?
Oh yeah, it hasn't come up yet, but
I was not hoping it would come up, but
you want to bring it
like I remember when let's go back there. If the microphone goes silent, this is all going wrong.
It's just my tears.
No, I
actually
can you wet a microphone? I don't know.
I get electric shock from crying on the mic.
I remember when you had your car crash.
Yeah,
like I remember.
So let me give you a quick rundown for people because no one and he will sort of know about it.
Was it 2002?
It had to be around then.
2002 or 2003.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
My mate fell asleep driving in the car. I was in the passenger side. He fell asleep and we drove into a big jarrah tree power pole. The bull bar snapped, went up the left.
It was after a wedding.
After a wedding. It was the same day as Big Day Out.
I know.
Year. Yeah. And so I shattered the left side of my face, my eyeball. I tore a little part in the actual eyeball.
So you're in the passenger seat in the front. Are you asleep?
I was asleep.
Yeah, it's nighttime. You're coming back from a wedding.
Yeah. And I don't hold any bad blood towards him now. Like
it's an accident.
Yeah, it's an accident. I chose not to drive. I didn't have my license at the time. He fell asleep, drove, crashed, bull bar snap, shattered my face, tore something in my eye, almost cut my right pointer finger off, broke my left arm in just like the wrist joint, done this tiny little fracture in my hip bone.
Yeah.
That was so painful. Yeah. And then I was hanging up, so I'd split also, my skin on my forehead was split right open so you could see bone and stuff. I still have a scar up there. And then I was hanging upside down in a car.
Did it roll as well?
Yeah, so it tipped.
So you've come off the road, you've impacted rolled and then hit?
No, so hit from I can't remember anything of it, but I've got pictures of the car. So I've impacted the left side of the car.
Yep.
As it's hit the pole, it's also flipped over onto the driver's side. So I'm hanging from my ankle upside down.
Yep.
He has a petrol, but also a natural gas fueled car, and it's a big Hilux. And so there's blue flames blowing out the back of it.
Yep.
And there was cats that we knew each other. People had pulled over because they're all coming back from the Big Day Out as well.
Yeah.
They've pulled over to help out. End up one of the cats that was helping out. We were at a party a couple of months later, and he was like, "Oh yeah, where have you been?" I was like, "Oh, I'm being in a car accident and stuff." And he goes, "Oh man, crazy! I was in a car. I seen a car accident. I was helping him out a couple. He was helping me out.
Way.
Yeah, and couldn't tell me because my face was just so messed up.
Wow.
But anyway, but yeah, so that was.
Were you conscious?
I cannot remember anything. So I wake up in the hospital about. This is becoming an interview about me, you bastard. I wake up I don't wake up in the hospital. I can remember bits and pieces and it's foggy, but my brain sort of goes, all right, it's safe enough to like come back to reality.
Yep.
But in the hospital, I think that I have been at the wedding and then I think that I have tricked my way from being drunk to get a bed in the hospital.
Yeah, okay.
So I can, I've still got a bandage all on my arm, all over my finger. I can't see out of my left eye, but I'm not putting two and two together.
No.
I start telling the nurses, I'm like, I'm sorry, I will pay for it. I'm so nervous because I'm like, I had no money at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I've lied. I'm like, I shouldn't be here because I've got drunk and I've been at a party or wedding. And the nurse comes in, she goes, just wait here for a second. And so she calls up my mum and my mum's boyfriend has to come up before work because I've been in there for 3 days. So people have to get back to their normal lives. And he comes up and he has to like show me with a mirror. And he's like, hey, you've been in a car accident. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I've been in a car accident. So I'm like, I have to sit back down. I don't remember feeling like shocked or anything like that.
What was that moment like?
I don't really remember how. I just remember the turning of the mirror and then just like, oh, that's just reality.
Okay.
Like It wasn't like I was like, maybe I was and maybe I should reach out to them and have them tell that story as well. But yeah, I don't remember it being that joke. I do remember being on morphine and I was watching so many cartoons. I thought that I was Johnny Bravo for a while. Like, so at one point I was allowed to walk around for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I imagined this or, pardon me, was actually doing it, but I swear I was going down the hall going, do you remember Johnny Bravo? The kind of like, yeah, I didn't even really watch it. It was just because it was the only thing on TV. But I'd be like, I'm Johnny Bravo. Hey, what are you guys doing right now? Hey, do you want to come party? And I was walking out and the ladies were like, hey, come back. And she'd be like, hey, Matt, you need to go back. And I'd be like, I'm not Matt. I'm Johnny Bravo. Wow. And then, so they'd be like, Johnny Bravo, you need to come back to your room. Okay. Yeah. Like nurses have to put up with so much crap.
Mate. They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are unbelievable. Yeah.
So
that's a really traumatic event.
Yeah.
And not everyone survives.
Oh, no. So like my mum was told that likely I was going to have brain damage. Looks like I might have broken my back, my legs, like all this stuff. Yep. And so they were giving her the worst case scenario to sort of like, hey, we don't know what's going on, but looks like you are going to have to be prepared for this stuff. From what I don't know.
You would have been 19, 20,
I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah. I just got back from traveling around Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever drive past?
Oh yeah, I've driven past there a bunch.
No problem?
Nah, I don't have any.
You don't really have a recollection of it.
I don't have a recollection, but I don't have any like anxiety or post-traumatic stress from it. Yeah, I'm very lucky in that way. Great. I wonder if I remember the actual pain of the accident or like the shock, then maybe. But no, I think because my brain was like, you're out.
Oh man, there's some good mechanisms that kick in where you switch off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, probably it's good. To be honest, it's good that you don't.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, I think it's helped me move on.
Yeah, definitely would have. Made it easier. But that's probably one of the biggest events that can happen in your life, and then to survive, and then to still be able to.
Well, to survive and also be functioning.
Yeah,
like I have like bung up stuff from it still. Like my ankle is super weak, but that's also from skateboarding as well. On top of it. And then like my neck's all funky still, but that's also bad posture. But then was that because of the accident?
Maddie's not landing tricks at the skate park. No. Always pinning it on this,
this
accident. I used to nail the 1080.
I tell all the kids, there's so much truth to what you're saying though. Like they'll be down the park and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I really want to do that trick.
You should have seen Maddie Mitchell pre-accident. That guy.
So good.
So good.
He had so much potential.
He had an unfair advantage. Oh, if this is your simulation, you've ruined it, Matty.
I've ruined it. Like, why would I pick that as
I don't know. Future Matty was like, no, you will be a drawer.
Or at least, if it's my simulation, why didn't I crash into the car and then become some sort of superhero that's had
point.
something?
Maybe you
like,
have.
This is my superpower, sitting here and shooting the shit. Great.
Nothing happened
I'm
to
not
his
as I'm not as creative as like I thought.
Yeah. That finger's looking good though.
Yeah.
You know, that thing can draw.
Yeah. Well, do you know what's funny is like they told me that I would only be able to bend it at like a 75, well not like
and
like
you've
a
got-
15
and
degree.
you've got
I spent
16
a night just like going like bending
really?
it. Oh yeah, I was just. I remember him telling me, and I was so worried about drawing because I could only draw with my because people may not have jumped on this, but at the end of this I'll do an illustration based on this.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I should have told you that. You just said this is.
I would have worn more than Ugg boots. Be generous, Matty.
I'm going to need 2 sheets of paper. So yeah, I'm going to do an illustration with this. But back then when I was drawing, I would have to point my finger out straight, but it wouldn't let me get some of the angles and stuff that I needed because I was so used to drawing with all my fingers on there.
So
and
what'd you do? Did you read? Did you start drawing differently, or
I was drawing like that for a while, and then the doctor said you're probably not going to get much bending back in that, and I was like, F that. And so I just started like that night. I just started doing like basically finger crunches, and I was just bending.
I'm from Mantra. If there's one thing we do is we get bent.
We're bent out of control, and so I just bent it all night and just it kept going. And then it hurt so bad, like the skin on top was, and still now it's really tight. But yeah, that night I just kept.
And you probably had a small window without knowing where that could happen.
It just happened to be like that willpower of wanting to get that done.
For those that can't see Matty, there's nothing like a grown man looking at you wiggling their finger in all seriousness, going, that willpower.
That's like the only willpower I've had. This finger's so strong though. If I'm going to lift anything.
Yeah. No. I was thinking about that. I think about that. Not your accident.
Yeah.
There or anything like that. But that is the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really good and something I keep it in mind as well. A lot of those things we go to.
Yeah.
You know, people do have good outcomes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not always the case, but
is that those good outcomes what makes you get through the harder outcomes?
To be honest, I don't follow up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless something's in the paper.
Yeah.
Or I kind of.
Oh, even if something happens then and there, like.
Sorry, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm pretty philosophical.
Yeah.
I think you can't change things that happen.
Yeah.
Whether you're on shift or not on shift that day, things happen. And
is that something that firefighter, is that a personal thing, or is there something that as firefighters they sort of tell you stuff through training?
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. And I think you have to work out, who you are and what works for you, and what works for me probably doesn't work for someone else, or vice versa. But no, that's just what I've found. Yeah. And I like to look at the process, and you're working with really good people. You're working with really good people. Like,
are they pretty strict on the type of personalities that they get coming through? Like,
I think, to be honest, I think it's probably a fair chunk of it. Yeah. As in, and we were joking around, but the physical side. Yeah. Like if you do look after yourself and you're okay, like that's not a big deal. Yeah. Yes, there's some basics you need. Sure. Yeah. If you don't have that, you shouldn't be doing it. But like for good reason. But you've got to live in a house with these people. So think about that. Like, so if I was an interviewer, and I'm not, but I would look at the person and go, how would I be pretty happy to live with this person for 14 hours? Yeah. We're going to get along. They're going to fit into a group? Yeah. Because it's a team and everyone has to work
together. Yeah.
You can have different, and you want different personalities.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think it's a huge component. Yeah. Yeah. And proof in the pudding, like 99% of the people I work with, just fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's that 1%, one
They're
arsehole.
out there. There always is.
Well, I think of like, I think of like the places I've worked that have so many people, and to try and find a bunch of people that work well together is so hard.
It is hard.
To
It is
be
hard.
insane together for 14 hours and then
It is hard.
high stress situations and not like casting blame on someone or
Yeah.
you get what I mean? There's so many room
Yeah.
for error or not error, room for like judgment or begrudging someone like or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, most people are really good.
Yeah.
I think what's more frustrating is downtime. You know, like, because it's a real balance.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's not a balance. You know, it's kind of all or nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about
Do you guys like work out there together and stuff like that? Is that
there's a gym there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Party a day. If you've got time, if you're not on call or whatever. So that's really important.
So you play like because you guys probably on call quite a bit, right? Just sort of waiting for.
Yep.
Do you guys have like games you play? Like, is there?
It's just different places. Like there's a lot of stuff to do in that other time.
Yeah.
You know, we've got inspections we do. We've training, lots of training.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Well, how much downtime do you have?
Oh, it varies.
Yeah.
Like, you can go a shift without getting a job.
Oh wow.
You know,
Yeah.
that
So
can
you're
definitely
just-
happen.
But like in that, let's say you do have a shift where it's like 14 hours. Is it? Hey, we've cleaned the trucks. We've done all this.
Yep.
It's 14 hours of just sitting and waiting.
Yeah. Oh, sitting and waiting. Yeah, it's you're getting on with everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then if tones go off, then off you go.
Yep.
Out the door. So yeah, it's I like that. I like the
Do you still get
not
an
knowing what you're going to do that day. I still find that really.
Do you get an
enjoyable.
adrenaline pump when that tone goes off still?
Not intentionally, but it's like you know, like Pavlov's. Pavlov's dog. That reaction.
Yeah.
When you hear it, because you've got association.
Yeah.
You know, you hear and it's the same tone. All the time. So when you hear that, there is that little. Okay.
Yep.
Off you go.
Time you
and
go.
it's funny because you hear it. The similar tones in real life. You might be on your day off and you hear this little click.
Yeah.
And you still
You're
get
like,
that. Hang on.
You just jump and save a woman.
Yeah, I don't know what happens. You get dressed.
Like, dang it, I'm out of these Ugg boots.
I was so comfortable. But so there's that. But yeah, variety. I know it's different for everyone, but variety and unknown's pretty nice element to
Does
going
this
to work.
you get a bit of time, like you do a month on and
No. So we'll do 2 days.
Okay.
Then 2 night shifts.
Okay.
And then 4 days off.
Okay.
And repeat that.
Isn't there like a set like a holiday system? Like,
There's annual leave and so you get a block of time off.
yeah.
So that's all really.
Is that a
really
big
good.
chunk of time? Or?
Yeah, it's about a month.
Yep.
And to be honest, it's nice. It's nice to get away from the job properly.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah.
So, I think we're really lucky. Like it's a great. It really is a good life for the right person.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, not that I forget that it's not for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for those that want to do it, best job.
Yep.
Best job.
Do you, with that time off, does that give you time to chase down other adventures? Like, so we're going to lead
pretty
into
generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's enough time to allow something good.
Yeah.
Is how I would look at it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So then, were you a firefighter when you did the camel walk across the Great Sandy Desert?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of piggybacked a couple of annual leaves. Someone else traded one so I could get a big chunk of time.
Yeah.
Because we needed a fair bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does something like that come across your plate? Was it a friend told you about it, or how's that come up?
Good question. It doesn't come up like we invented it.
Oh, you invented it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, kind of organically. Like I did it with a friend.
Yep.
He's not a fire.
Yep.
Different walk of life, and we both. I think at the crux of it, we both want to do something really hard.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something from scratch.
Wow.
And we wanted to do something that we invented,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
He had a link to this early Australian explorer.
Oh, yeah.
Who had crossed from South Australia to
It's a
Perth.
woman, right?
No, it was
Oh.
a guy. No, you're thinking of a lady called Robin, that Tracks
Yeah.
movie. Is that what you're
I haven't
thinking?
seen the movie, but
I haven't seen it
my
either.
mother-in-law read a book and she told me about
Yeah.
and how she had to shoot a bull camel
Yep.
coming across.
Yep. Yeah. So that was a woman.
Yeah.
I think it was in the 70s, maybe
Mm-hmm.
80s, called Robin something. I still haven't watched it. The movie's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
Tracks. So she trained up a few camels and walked them a long distance. Yeah. This link was back to the 1800s.
Yep.
And they were trying to find an overland route between South Australia and Perth, basically. And they took 17 camels and ended up in the Great Sandy Desert.
Yep.
Long story short, they all nearly died. They ended up with one camel and they made it to Grey Station on the coast of WA.
Yep.
So there was a family link for the other guy I went with. And then, so that was the inspiration. We had the journal from that trip. And we thought we'll go do something similar. So we trained up 5 camels from scratch.
So this is all on, financially it's all on you guys, right? So it's not for charity. It's not.
We ended up raising money for charity.
Okay.
But every dollar that was donated went to charity.
Oh, so all the other stuff was
Everything.
on you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You paid for camels.
Camels, trailers,
food.
equipment, fuel.
Wow.
Yeah, everything. We had a couple of sponsors. Not financial.
Camel cigarettes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Thirsty Camel. It's just this huge drive-through, and so we got given a couple of things.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. Like, it helped a lot, but expensive undertaking, and quite drawn out. Like, from the idea to going and doing it.
How long was it? So
18 months.
Oh,
Probably
wow.
from thinking about it.
That's not as long as I thought you were going to say.
I'd say 18 months.
I think
to
it's
2 years, maybe.
pretty quick for
We
doing
had to
something.
train them.
Yeah, you had to train
we'd
them,
never worked with animals
execute it,
before.
never done it before.
So to find camels, to find out how to train them, to find somewhere to keep them, to pay, feed them. There's a lot of
What
stuff.
did you do with them afterwards?
They're at Kalamunda. There's a camel farm in Kalamunda.
Oh, that's right. Because I've heard that Australian camels, one, are pests in the wild.
They are.
But they're like the best bred here, so they get
ours
shipped
are
out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So there's huge populations of them in the desert.
Yeah.
500,000 to 1 million.
Wow.
So they cull them. They'll fly in helicopters and cull them because they affect all the water
plants
resource,
because of
everything they eat. Yeah. So they're real. They're a pest.
Yeah. Well, they're like made for the desert, right? So like here they just
are
thrive.
Built for, like, you could not simulate a better animal. So they're unbelievable, and like they'll go a month without drinking water. They're just so hardy, and they're so healthy. In the West Australian and Northern Territory desert.
Do they, if they have the opportunity to drink water, do they drink it, or is it one where they're like, I only need to drink every couple of days type thing?
I don't know. What we found was they'll drink till they're full. Yeah. And then that's it. They're done until they, like, you could have a bucket. We were in the desert and we might only give them water every 10 days. Wow. And they'd go through 9-10
How long was the
34 days. We were out there for 34 days. Fuck. Which is a long time, Maddie.
That is a long time.
Yeah.
For some reason in my brain, I've always thought this was like a week trip.
Yeah, times 5.
Yeah.
And then what I want you to do in your head is, Maddie Mitchell, because you're a drawer, imagine a blank sheet of paper with only a couple of bits of like plant life, scrubs, and then if you replicate that image and you string them all together and it doesn't change for 34 days, then that's the landscape we're in. So a lot of dunes. Yeah. But we came down the northern section of the Canning Stock route. Yeah. And there's not much going on up there. No. So we wanted to do something hard, and we really got something. Is that your biggest accomplishment so far, do you feel? Obviously all the stuff you've done is different. Like genuinely I don't compare or I just don't think of things
that way.
In that
Yeah.
way.
Fair enough. I think that's probably why you do so many different adventures.
I don't know. I think the real reason is, I'm just fascinated with what you can experience in your time on Earth. You know, I think there's, you will be old one day, and you've either done these things that you thought or weren't sure that you could do, and I know it's just pretty. For me, and it's different for everyone, but I think for me, I'm just so interested in finding out what you can do. You know,
was there much difference between what you did in Antarctica, and what you did in the desert of preparation?
Yeah. Okay.
Like body wise and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah.
Very different, but similar in the sense that there's a fair bit of unknown.
Yeah.
So you just prepare for what what I do, or what I've found I've done. I'll kind of break it down. I'll have a look at the environment you're going to go into, what can happen, think of all the contingencies.
Yeah.
And as long as you prepare the best you can, then there's like a confidence in that, you know, whatever happens, you know, at least you've covered all your bases.
Yeah. Did you guys have like a sat phone or something like that?
Yeah, we had a sat phone.
Yeah, just so in case something happened, you'd be like...
Yeah, it was well planned.
Yeah.
But even being really well planned, where we were was so remote. Like there were a couple of times we'd pull out the map and there wouldn't have been another person for 300 kilometres in any direction.
Wow.
And that's just a person, not civilization.
Not civilization
like
or...
So it would have taken, if something bad happened, like if there was an accident or whatever.
Like a snake bite or something like that.
Yeah, snake bite, broken bone, or whatever.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be getting help for
a
couple of days, I reckon.
If one of the camels got sick, were you guys prepared to be like, dang, we have to put this one down?
Planned for everything. Dang. You had to.
Yeah, of course.
And I skip over so much of this in my mind because there's so much that happened.
Oh, I can only imagine.
We had to transport 5 animals 3,000 kilometres just to start the trip. You know, that's a 5-day mission in itself.
Yeah.
You know, coming down the Tanami Desert Road, that's corrugation for 180 kilometres past Wolf Creek with trailers that are falling apart and 5 animals and hoping you're going to get to the start line, and then starting and thinking, well, if that's how difficult it was to get in, you know, getting out.
Was there any moment where you're like, I've bitten off too much than we can chew, or we got this?
It was kind of both at the same time. If that makes
I feel that
sense.
All the time with any even go to do a drawing and a blank bit of paper, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do?
But that's the edge.
Yeah.
Right. That's where it's good.
Yeah.
It's how I look at it. You know, and that's what I was kind of saying, that you prepare as much as you can.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, there's still a big amount of unknown. Like you've still got a big blank page in front of you, and you have to do something.
Yeah.
Have you got the skill to do it? Yep. You hope so.
Yeah.
Have you done the work? Yep. Okay. Right. Now all that's left is to go and do it.
Yeah.
If you haven't, this is what I find. If you haven't done the work, if you haven't really thought it through, and then no one else knows, but you know.
Yeah.
And that'll haunt. That's the what's the word I'm looking for? Like that's the chink in the armor.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think prepare as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but that's it. You got to go and do it.
Yeah.
You can't prepare and not do it either.
I feel
at some point that's for me, that's, I don't know, that's like the good place to live.
Yeah, I agree. I think
it's where you find stuff out.
Yeah. I think your adventures seem way more physical than anything I've chosen to do. And I feel like personally on different stuff I've done, like moving to America or moving back from America or like taking on Nintendo or self-publishing books or the app I started, like, get what I mean? It's a lot of those things where I'm like, it's the same sort of thing.
Just in a different arena.
Yeah.
That's
but I do admire the physicality, and I've hoped to at one point do something in my life where it takes me, just like this podcast, taking me outside of the realm that I've done. You should. And so my big thing is I've been surfing, like we were talking before the podcast. I've been surfing, getting back into it, and how bad I was and still am, but I'm enjoying it so much and pushing myself to be like, all right, let's make sure we get out there. Let's sure that
Yep.
we get away. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be, like, as soon as it got a little bit big, I was like, I'm not even making it out the back. I'm not even trying that.
And isn't it funny, like, and with your drawings and your books, like at some point, you know, like we're saying, you have to do it. You've got to put it out there. But I don't know about you, but I get so much enjoyment from the process.
Yeah.
That's actually what it's about.
Yeah.
And then it's not bittersweet. Like you need to execute. You need to go and do the thing, whatever that is. Draw, like actually hand in the illustrations and put it out there, or put the podcast together, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But when you look back on it, so much of the enjoyment was that build up.
The build up.
Yeah. So that process.
Trying to figure out, like, there's a part of me that enjoys the process, like, especially drawing. I love the thought of, like, these lines are bringing some sort of thing to life.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that also goes, like, I just wish I could get over that hump of the learning curve. So then, which a part of the process, because then I was just talking to my wife how in the last month where I was helping out Paperbird Books with their online stuff, I had to re-up my skills on video editing, or like all these problems I had to solve, and I was really jazzed on that I solved them. And even with the podcast stuff, I had to learn like Audacity. Only a small amount of it. I haven't learned very much, but I'm just like, keep it moving forward so then it progresses.
Yeah, you almost fall forward, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, there's so much, and kind of looking, like, to draw a parallel kind of from like some of the stuff I've done, and what you do is, you know, there's no way we could have started that desert project and done what we did without every single day of what led to that. Yeah. And
well, there's so many little goals you would have to have, like, not like pieces you just have to chip away at.
Yeah, that's it. But you almost have to, if you're trying to work out what the end product is, you'll never start and you'll never do anything. You really just have to start. Yeah. And then you kind of do part one, and then part two illuminates a little bit. Yeah. You get to part two and you're like, all right. And then it's like you kind of get the next little bit of light or direction for then the next block. Yeah. That's all it is. And then it's like part one goes to two, two goes to three, three goes to four, four goes to five. Then you're at 27, 28 and you're doing it, you know. But you would never have got there without starting.
I think I love that analogy. I think it's like walking through a door and the door's a small room. You're like, okay, I can check off that stuff. I've had the idea, I've got this. And then you open the next door, which is stage 2, and you're like, oh, dang, it's a bit bigger, but I did just check off that one a little bit. I know there's all these other pieces. Okay. Then once you get further along, the doors might be bigger, or the rooms might be bigger, but then you're like, oh, that project, that's not that big of a deal. Knock that out in an hour. Exactly. I've got that. Exactly. Where in that first room, you might be like, oh, this is the second or third. They're the biggest and hardest.
And that's experience, you know, and that's why I think it's really, the older I've got, the more fascinated, and I don't know about you, but you really start to pay attention to people that have done things. Before you were just oh yeah, cool, you've done that. But now that you understand what goes into it and what they know and what you can learn from someone.
Yeah, fully.
Man, it's like, it's a big eye opener. And you almost have to go and do something to appreciate and understand what that means.
I fully agree.
The stuff I've done now, I couldn't have done that 15 years ago. Yeah. I just wasn't in myself, you know, it wasn't in probably how I thought about things and how I did things. Maybe confidence. Yeah. But if you look at this series of tiny, like those doors, going through another one, another one, and I don't look at anything I've done as hard, or maybe the actual act of it is hard. Yeah, but actually the steps to do it, it's just, and you either go and do something or you don't do it. And it's that simple. Yeah. And I'm really interested, and you'll notice, and maybe, I don't know if this is something you notice or if I'm just hyper aware, if I'm talking to someone, and you'll find this with your podcast, man, like you just know who's going to do what they say. Oh, yeah. It's you know, the language they use, how they speak about it. You just know who's not. Yeah. And it's only because you've done it and you know. Yeah. It's that black and white, and it's not about knowing how to do something.
Do you think people can, on that, because I think when people hear that, they're like, oh no, I feel like I haven't done anything. I'm in the version that doesn't do it. But I've done some stuff. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Do you think people that have not done anything are able to learn to do something?
Cool. Yes, I think it's not about it. Man, it depends what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it needs to be in their circle of competence.
Yeah.
Or it needs to be.
Or does it though? Like you were not a camel.
No, not at all. No. Okay. So I knew nothing about animals.
Yeah.
Okay. No dog growing up. Nothing,
Wow.
And we've gone
You didn't have a dog growing up?
Nah. It surprises me now as well. Like, we're a pretty active family. We've been a good family for it. Anyway, I know. We had a budgie, man. Anyway.
Best budgie though.
Oh, man.
Fetch a paper.
We flew that thing every day.
What took it on a string?
Yeah, so we gave it a dog name though. That was a funny thing.
Like Rufus?
No, it was Beethoven, that movie that came
Oh,
out.
wow.
Anyway, yeah, so maybe we secretly wanted
a dog.
We had silkworms and budgies.
Silkworms.
Remember those things? I don't know what happens to them. They're in a shoebox one day and then they're not there.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're right. We didn't know anything about that. But what we did
Just on a side note, one sec.
Yeah.
What colour is the budgie? Just
Blue.
Blue? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, of course you see things in colours.
Well, no, I just wanted to know in case I wanted to incorporate it into
Yeah,
the
of course you do.
illustration.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. We didn't know how to train camels. We didn't know anything about that. But what we did have, we really had a belief that we could learn anything.
Yeah.
Now, when I say anything, it needs to be. I don't think that anyone can learn anything.
Okay.
I think if it's something that's a skill acquisition, they can do it.
Yep.
And that's where time, energy, effort
Yep.
comes in. But outside of that realm, talent is a real thing.
Yeah.
But you can make up for a lot of lack of talent with a lot of effort.
I think, and just even in general, I think that I've gotten through my life a lot more on my personality. Definitely not my looks.
I know, man. I'm looking at you. It ain't that bad.
That's after the car accident.
That's-
Before
that-
though. But I feel like my skill level was never like, I was not the best designer, not the best illustrator. I was not the best person when I was working in surf shops and selling stuff. But I was able to be nice, polite, and work a little bit, not even a bit harder, just so my personality helped me get through those things. And other people have different skills they can sort of get through. But
it's really interesting you bring that up. I've thought about you and what you've done. And I know a lot of, this age, you've met lots of people. I see you as a real success story.
Wow.
I really do.
Oh, thank you.
And I think because what we know about each other is the environment we grew up in.
Yeah.
And I think it was really good from a community point of view. Amazing. We knew some amazing people.
Yeah.
And there was a real, I don't know if tenacity is the right word, but there was there was like two camps I found where we grew up, which was people that it was super creative actually.
Yeah.
Looking back, and some really amazing personalities.
Good point. Yeah.
And we were kind of lucky that the groups we were in, I think underlying they were super encouraging. Yeah.
I definitely think so. Yeah.
But looking at you in particular, because you can look at your upbringing however you want. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but there's a lot of other, for lack of a better word, Maddie Mitchells from where we grew up who, really didn't do anything to cast a broad brush. And then, man, to look at what you've done, your creativity. Not many people would back a skill like that or an interest like that.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, this is in the time where the internet was in its infancy. Yeah. And it's kids now, oh man, what you can draw easy. You can put it out there. You can get the crowd response. You didn't have that. You just kind of said to yourself, this is what I'm doing. And man, there was a huge unknown with that.
Yeah.
It's not. You don't get that feedback, that instant feedback now. Yeah. Then compared to what you do now, and then to go where you've gone, and And I've tried to work it out. Like I've tried to go, what did Maddie have that...
I've had this discussion with many people around different things, especially in the States, like living there, about what made me get out of being in a very dysfunctional household, what made me not fall down like a depression trap, like being kicked out of home at 18.
Why didn't you take all the easy options?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What do you reckon it is?
I think that there's a couple of things. I had some people that were early on in my life that were very supportive of stuff to do. And my mum is very supportive of creativity and stuff like that, and early on. But I also had people that were very positive influences. Like I have my family, like aunts and uncles, like they were very all positive and like, hey, you can do this or whatever. And but I did grow up, like there was, well, this is me talking about when I used to live over in just north of Sydney on the Central Coast. We grew up, I was in Housing Commission, and there was a lot of people around me that just, I look back and I'm like, I can't believe I'd hang out with those people. Like, it just, but you didn't have any other options to not hang out with them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sorry, getting sidetracked, but I think I was able to have people outside of that were great influences. And then I was at a stage that hit me, but I also had a single mum. So my mum gave me, one of the best things she gave me was she let me see everyone as an absolute equal. So I have no, like, I understand there's inequalities in the world from what society has given them.
Sure.
But in my mind, I had no concept of them being there was an inequality. So I was just like, oh, cool. Yeah, of course. You're Tom, you're Steve, you're whatever. It's
awesome.
Jillian, whatever. You get what I mean? Yeah. Just everyone equal.
You never, as in, sorry to interrupt, as in you didn't put people on a pedestal, or you thought they had more of an advantage, or the other way, did you think, these guys don't deserve as much respect or credit? Because
probably the first one. Like
you never not put people down. You never dismiss someone from like where they might have come from or who they.
Yeah, like if they were really, like let's say, like I grew up in where I was, even when I was down in Golden Bay, I had friends that had very functional families and had a lot more money to their names. I would never look at them and be like, oh man, like you've just got it easy. I was like, well, we're just friends. Like we're just hanging out. Yeah. I did have in the sense like, well, why can't I have that? But it was on me. Like, oh, why can't I have that? Why have my, like, a little bit of that. But as I got older, I changed the tone of that to be like, why can't I achieve that? Or why can't I put that on myself to get that? Mind you, I floated around and bounced around in like surf shops and skate shops until I was 25. Yeah, I remember. And then I was like sitting going like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And this guy said, hey, what would you do if you had $1 million? And then I said, he's like, pick a job that is based off that. I was like, I love skating.
Hey.
And he's like, well, you're never going to be a professional skater. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. And I was like,
that saved a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, just threw my board away there. He goes, I was like, I love surfing. And he's like, you're never going to be. I was like, I haven't done snowboarding, but he's like, why would you even put that on the thing? So I was like, rattling off these things. I was like, I love drawing. And he's like, find it something that he didn't say this. And then I just started running through my head. And then it went to like, what can I do with creativity? And then it led down to...
This was someone you respected?
Was
it just a thought process?
It was someone... I don't want to say I didn't respect him or respect him.
Sure,
like I respected him as a person, but he was not significant to the story.
Sure, it was more... Okay.
He just triggered that conversation. And then that sort of happened. So I think being able to look outside of my family for influences gave me the chance to process that idea. It seems like a long turnaround. Process that idea in a way of not going, I can't do this, of going like, what can I do with this? And then like Sparkers in the last podcast made a joke about how bad my drawings used to be, even when me and him were hanging around. And I'd be drawing all the time thinking like, this is so cool, and just terrible. Like I look back, like they weren't terrible, but they were bad. Like, and so we're laughing so much about it. Anyway, So the fact that at that point I had this confidence that I was able to do something with creativity. Now I look back and I'm like, man, I was so naive on what creativity is. And like people that have it at an earlier age, I admire that what you could do at that age. But I was like, oh, I'm drawing. If someone only found me drawing, they could do it, rather than me go, well, why don't you try and do something with it? And then that led on to me becoming a web designer, working for design agency, and then Nintendo, and starting my own apps and children's books and all that.
Did you find it was a bit self-fulfilling? Like, by that I mean, did you almost have to work for someone like a Nintendo to go, you know what, not to justify what you're doing, but did you ever need that external validation to go, yeah, I've got it. Like the world is seeing what I've done, and
yeah, there's definitely
I've got that credibility.
I would say the brand name gave the credibility to like the rest of the, like whether it's people I know or whatever. But personally, I don't think web design was always for me. I think I was like decently good at it and was able to use my personality to go a bit further on, maybe being Australian and American, maybe, and my work was still pretty good, but I wasn't the quintessential designer. So there's a way that they sort of think, or that they want to break things down, where mine was more like, hey, I've got this grand idea. How can we get this to implement this? Like I was like more on that side of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So how do you... Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I just wonder how you go, how do I word it? So because what you've done, I consider really successful in that realm, you know.
Yeah.
And how do you then explain that to a younger, creative? Let's just call them a creative. Where, man, they're doing everything right. They're on the right path. They just haven't. It hasn't all clicked.
Yeah, I think it'd be the same thing.
Is that an internal thing for them? What do you do about that?
I think there's a lot of jobs out there, and I'm more thinking from an America standpoint because I've only been here. So there's a lot of jobs where you can be successful without having that brand notoriety.
Yep.
So you could be very successful at a small design company, killing it and having the best time of your life. Like I had more fun at my smaller design firm than I did at Nintendo, but I loved Nintendo.
Yep.
But there were some parts that I didn't like. But I had more fun because I got to visit the gamut of creativity. Cool. I was working on laser cutters. I was working on websites, print stuff, T-shirts, all this other stuff that they had going on. We had an art gallery in the front, and I got to like help run that stuff at different times, all that.
What do you say to Maddie, who's like 25 and drawing, but it doesn't feel like it's going somewhere?
I would say pick a target.
Yeah. Okay,
so cool. I think the problem with a lot of people is that when I say a lot of people, I'm talking about people that were like me, that they might have some skill, but they don't know what to do with it. I think this applies if you're a football player or whatever, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you'd be like, if I was floundering around until I said, I'm going to be a designer. So then I went to school to start designing. And then I moved to America and I was like, well, I'm not going to pay to go to a $100,000 school. So then I can come out with debt for that. So then I just was like, I'm picking up every extra bit of work I can. Yeah, I was working at a movie theater. I was going to night school to get my skill levels up. But you don't get accreditation for it. You just, and it wasn't super well like structured where.
Did that bother you, or did you just know it wasn't about the accreditation? It was
I didn't care.
As long as I know, as long as I can do this, I'm going to find a way for this to fit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's been my whole life, though.
Yeah,
I think
so.
Yeah, just fumbled through and been like, oh, I'll get to it at some point, or get to that goal.
Yeah,
and I think it's like a big
kind of point
zigzag.
in the right direction.
Yeah,
and wobble your way.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a straight line.
No,
it's just like
not.
Bang. Can you get through there? And I think like just like picking up all those different. I did a whole website, coding from scratch, designing and photography, everything for $500.
Nothing.
Like if I put down the hours that I put in, It was...
You got to be able to look at that stuff differently, though, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so
At the right time.
Yeah, at the right time. Like now, if someone asked me to do a website, I probably would be like, it either has to be for a worthy cause, or I'm like, they're gonna pay a chunk of money that I'd be like, I can't turn that down.
Yep.
Or I'm like, sorry, I'm focusing on this stuff and I can't get distracted as much. But anyway, that's what I would do if someone was saying that. And just like you with the Camels, like right, you went, there's our end goal. We're going to work our way to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing is like, if you're family around, just even if it's a small goal. So even now I still do this. I was talking to Sparkles on the last podcast who has the Aardvark bar. And I was like, I would love within a year that I could, and this may not happen, but it's just, even if it's a fake goal, I would love within a year if I could host a live podcasting where it sells out the Aardvark and I'm up there doing the podcast. Cool. That would blow my mind.
Why does it have to sell it out?
Well, it's just like one of those...
That's part of it.
Part of it, right? So I'm reaching a mass more than just
cool.
You and I chatting.
We're working out what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And, man, we're in full agreement. I could not agree with you more that don't worry if you don't know how.
Oh, yeah.
Would be the better way
fully.
to put it, hey?
Yeah, I told you before how nervous I am still about these podcasts. I've done... This is my third one. And I'm like right now I'm watching the clock and I'm like, oh God, we're in an hour and 30 minutes, which I'm loving the conversation, but I'm like, am I doing too long of form? And like, how do I wind it back at the same time? But
You'll know. You'll know.
Yeah. It'll come, and that's the thing. It's I just letting it flow and letting it reveal
just
itself.
Start it.
Sort of
just
thing.
Start it.
Exactly.
It will go where it goes.
Okay. Last question on the Camel one. I think you kind of answered it. So just a tiny recap. Do you think this is an adventure other people should take on, or do you think it takes a very specific type of person to do it?
You should definitely not do it. No way. It's too much time, effort, and money, and a lot of suffering. Not that it takes a particular type of person. Am I happy with what we did? Yeah. I've got a lot of fulfillment from it and learned a ton.
Do you have a new appreciation for the desert?
Oh, for a lot of things.
Yeah. So I imagine, like, to me, the desert, I'm like, cool, you're out there, and maybe I'll drive out one day or be like, and see it for a second and be like, I'm back home in a day or so.
But it's harsh.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't really about camels or the desert, to be honest. You know, it was about doing something really, really difficult.
Yeah. Is it the way I word this is doing something that is outside of me.
Yeah.
Like that's why the podcast I put it is this is outside of my world. Yeah. And so I've got to do it.
That's what I'm after.
Yeah.
That's stretching.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not, I'm really careful about how I word this and describe it, because I never want it to sound to someone who listens as if it's, how do I put it? So if just because you don't have to do big things for things to be important. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the same thing that's a desert, releasing an illustration, doing a podcast can be someone going out for a 4K walk that morning who's never thought about exercising for 5 years or whatever. Yeah. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just doing something that you're not unsure of, but maybe you haven't experienced or haven't done. And just pushing out the edges a little bit.
Just like that, because that's saying one step after the next. Like just take that first step.
That's all it is. But man, it's so it for me it is pretty, mate. It's exciting. Finding out what you can do. Yeah. Like finding out what your real limits are. Yeah. In whatever.
Yeah. I've been doing yoga lately.
Have you?
Yeah.
Where about? At home?
Yeah, I've got this lovely lady, Sophie, and Jillian got me birthday present as like a series. And
mate, how good is it?
I've thought about doing it, but it's always been just a thought. But it's like that one step of like, hey, I'm giving it a shot, and I'm trying to get in like when we're doing the alms and the like being mindful in it. I'm trying to really be involved.
Cool,
in
you
that.
like that side as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that part of it to really experience the whole thing, and then see what my body can do. Because sitting down and drawing for years and web design, like my body's tight and twisted in the wrong ways and bad posture. So I'm really trying to get that
It's good, man.
back. Yeah,
Really good.
Then also clearing my mind of like especially all the stuff that we have going on. So even this one, remember ages ago we spoke about meditation when we were. This is probably at a year ago we spoke about.
Yeah, probably.
Like whether you meditate or I meditate, and we were like chatting back and forth. And I have not done one piece of meditation at all. But I think tomorrow I have one where I'm like, hey, can we add a little piece of meditation to the end of it or to the front of it? And she was like, yeah, I'd love to. So I'm going to try that.
And never, what I'd say to that is never dismiss doing 60 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
What I find now is I'm trying to, where she was like, hey, hold that breath and be in the moment. And same with like the first podcast here, the guy, Tom talks about being in the moment, even if he's skating, is like to enjoy that moment. So I've been trying to be like, things that happen, whether they're positive or negative, being in that moment and then just letting it go. So something like I stubbed my toe so hard the other day, and normally it's like an array of curse words just coming out.
And just enjoy the pain.
Yeah, well, I'd just be like, that pain. I literally said to myself, I took a breath and I said, it's going to pass. And then I was like, all right, cool.
And I wasn't joking. Like, enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, you can't be a skateboarder and not enjoy a bit of pain.
You would have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be in contact with your shins anymore.
Actually, my shins get super cold.
Put them away, man. Put them away.
And wear those really high Ugg boots.
Stop showing me those scarred shins, Matty. There's a really good. I'm reading a good book at the moment called. It's a popular book in some circles. It's called Awareness.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Robert DeMello.
Okay.
Maybe it's not Robert, but it's something DeMello.
Yeah.
DeMello, and he's a Jesuit priest who wrote it.
Okay.
And really not a religious book. That, but it's just it's serious, maybe 50 chapters and then 1 or 2 pages, and it's the kind of thing you read one page and then you have to stop and kind of reread it, and then you could think about that all day. Really great, along the lines of what you're talking about. Yeah. And it's got a good way of asking questions within it. Done really well. Yeah. Really, really, really great book.
I'm reading a book called Tiny Habits right now by BJ Fogg. And it's literally what we were talking about just a second ago. It's like all these tiny little steps to create, it's more for creating ongoing habits. So if you're like, I'm trying to quit sugar, right? Instead of where I'd have sugar before and get really down on myself. Instead of being like, hey, I went a whole day without sugar, I get hyped up on myself. And so
it's that, mate, I'm so torn with that world because there's so much good in it. And what I mean by that is, like, my old job was like with the health and wellness and whatnot. And this is what I mean when people say they're going to do something or they're not going to do something, you know, with the language that they use. But I think it's really, and habits are really important. Yeah. Okay, they're really important. But you have to know why you're doing something, and you've got to work out what this whole thing's about. I think it's very easy to go, you know, I've got these habits and I'm trying to do this and trying to do this.
Well, so this guy is a professor and has like done all these case studies and how he's like these four pillars that helps you form a habit. And it's not, I don't think it's someone trying to be like, hey, I want to write a book.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, hey, you want to, and I think you could apply that to that. Like if you just wrote one word a day, you're moving towards it.
Yeah, exactly.
But he goes, let's build up upon other habits that help you train you to form habits.
This is the thing. And the small things are the big things.
Yeah.
And whatever arena you're in, like you doing your yoga.
Yeah.
Just the pure kind of fact of one, deciding you can do something and then executing it.
Yep.
It's what I like about it. It's a flow on effects into other things. So never think it corridors down just that arena. It's that sideways movement. Of It get really, really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, they all spill over.
I agree.
They all spill over. But Oh yeah, no, I wasn't having a go at habits. They're really
No,
important.
yeah.
But no, I think it's almost good in reverse. Work out what you're trying to kind of globally head towards, and then see what becomes, what pops up. But man, that's really good, really good.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought to think about it in reverse like that. I'll take that on. I don't think I think about it like that.
I don't think you do anything in reverse.
I think all my stuff is
reverse.
I think my stuff is just, it's hard. I really struggle with trying to put the way I do stuff and apply it to how someone else should. Like especially just my
way you do stuff.
Yeah, like when you say before, how do you do stuff? I'm like, I don't know how it came to be that way because I don't understand it, because there is so many people that grew up in Mandurah or on the Central Coast that didn't end up the way I did, that have, and people that are way more talented than I have been, that have fallen off, or they chose not to go push harder or whatever. Or I don't know, but I don't know.
I think opportunity has so much to do with it, and that's not to take away from anyone who's done anything. Yeah, because you need to do it. You still got to do the work, but having done the work when the opportunity arises.
I love the saying, practice always favors the prepared.
Yeah. Exactly.
That to me, whenever I travel, I always take my children's book that I self-published, and there'll always be like 3 or 4 in there.
Just in case.
Like, what happens if I sat on the plane next to someone and they're like, hey, I'm that publisher.
Man, and when you ask the question, what do you do? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're always prepared.
Yeah.
Like you're always in a position to meet opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is, because that can be so fleeting.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, and this is something I not struggle with, but I rattle around.
Yeah.
And you would definitely have a good answer on it. How do you, with kind of directing your life?
Yeah.
And say, if you do this particular thing, it will end up pointing it in this direction. Okay, and going, that's where this is going to lead. How do you trade that off against going, well, if I didn't really point it all at this thing, there's a lot of, how do I put this? A lot of life can happen to you, which may lead to something really good as well. How do you balance kind of where you're directing what you're doing versus allowing things to happen to you as well that could also be, that you can't think of, that could be great.
Special as well. Sense? Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't think, this is why I think I struggle to say, like, even when I point at that goal, like the aardvark goal, that goal's not real to me. Like,
not real, it's not fixed or firm?
Fixed or firm. Like, look, if I don't achieve that, I'm not bummed out.
Cool.
But it's something to keep moving forward. And if it like spreads off, even this podcast, I've put like, I give myself these so outlandish goals that are so far down the road, but even if I don't meet it there, and I've had this amazing stuff, like that would be brilliant.
So you it's like a long distance target, like it's blurry. It's got enough definition to go, that's where I'm heading. Yeah, but it's not.
Well, and also the stuff I do, I think for the most part, unless you're trying to achieve like in a children's book and win a Caldecott Award or something like that, and that's a hard goal that you've got to have. Like, you know how someone's like, I want to be the head doctor of this hospital, and that's what they've wanted to do their whole life. I've never had that straight goal. Yeah, cool. Like, you know what I mean? And plus, there's all those other mini goals, right? I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have a beautiful wife.
I like how they're mini goals.
Well, they're mini at the moment.
Jill, don't listen to episode 3.
Well, maybe they're bigger goals.
Whatever it is.
Maybe they're bigger goals when it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Now it's just that's my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But I think life, if there's those people that are like, I'm getting that goal no matter what it takes. Or even, let's say you're not going to be an arsehole or anything, but you're like, I'm going to work my butt off and then get to that goal. Then I think that the way I've looked at it is like, I shoot these outlandish goals, and I might have a couple going at the same time, and that lets me sort of go bounce around left and right.
Yep.
So I may not be the best one to answer that, because my life is continually moving to adjust.
But it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's worked so far.
So far.
You know. And then this just, I always think about this stuff and opening up like little, like doors, how you look at it. But like, I look it up, I'm really fascinated by opportunity.
Yeah.
And I really get that, to be honest, that's what it's about. And the more times you can put yourself in the realm where opportunity can happen, doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No,
and
exactly.
it doesn't mean that.
It's like when Kelly Slater walks in. Like, you're not going to be best friends, but it may happen.
No, yeah, exactly. And just, I'm really interested in people who create opportunity or put themselves in a place where opportunity can.
I agree.
I love it, and it really excites me.
Mm-hmm.
And like the rest of the time, we're just kind of like, oh man, it's all just pretty stable.
It's hard to get out of that, even for.
It is
hard to get out of the rut of like, what am I going to, like I go to work, I come home, I got to go to work tomorrow. I get 2 days off normally. Like, and then if you've got a family, maybe you got kids, you got other family members and friends you got to like entertain as well, like, which you want to. It's like you'll personally want to do this stuff. But so for me, I sacrifice a lot of that stuff. So like I'm not hanging out with my friends every day, and if I'm sitting on the couch, my wife, I've got a pen and pad in my hand, drawing something. Or last night I was writing questions to this interview, right, which we have definitely taken.
I saw that bit of paper that we haven't looked at. Sketches all over it. You're always pushing the needle forward a little bit. I feel the same way. Where if I'm horrible in my own. Not my own space, but if I'm not pointed at something, or like I really feel like I'm wasting time, not in a bad,
I feel
way.
that as well. I know exactly that feeling.
It's kind of like if I'm not working towards something, I'm like, you're just sitting on the sidelines watching opportunity just go past, go past.
Just like the life of enjoying that moment.
Yeah, that's right.
So even when like in such a small moment, my kids will be sitting down reading, or maybe they got their iPad time, maybe Jillian's reading with them on the couch, and I've actually got nothing to do. I'm just pacing back and forth and being like, and then Jillian will be like, what are you doing? And she'll be like, just relax, or that. And mind you, she's the most efficient person ever. So she's done all a bunch of stuff. It's not like she's like, hey, I'm relaxing on the couch. Everything's done in the house, right? Because of her efficiency. And then I'll be like, should I go in and draw for 5 minutes, or like write something down, or like, and I just can't get comfortable. But I could sit on that couch for 10 hours sketching ideas, whether it's for this Lunchbox Laboratories, that's an old burger place back in Seattle. Lunchbox.
I like how that was burnt into your memory as well.
They were so good as well.
Man, they sound good.
Lunchbox treasures, little like sketches that I do to put in the kids' lunchboxes, and people can like download them and print them for their kids.
Unreal.
So I'll be like, maybe I'm sketching them for a whole bunch of time. Yeah. But time, I feel like I'm doing something with that time.
Yeah, cool. No. I always find it hard trade-off because it's easy to be busy.
Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. It's easy to pretend to be busy. Yeah.
And it's easy to be busy doing things that aren't that important.
Yeah.
And it's a real... That's kind of what I was talking about maybe 10 minutes ago. I don't know. Time's a bit funny at the moment. But when I was talking about how much do you steer the ship? Yeah. And how much do you let other things kind of... Like by sitting down, doing all that drawing because you feel like you need to be busy, are you missing this amazing moment where if you were just still for a little bit, this idea would come up? Or, it's such a dualistic kind of...
I find that play. With networking or stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people that would go out and chase things, like not chase things out.
How much you make happen versus,
And I don't think I don't do enough of the networking type things to get like random sort of ideas, sort of like possibilities going of those opportunities. Mind you, there's a few that sort of happen, and I feel like if I had any more, I'd be like, mind you, none of the stuff I'm doing right now is making money where I could like hire someone to be like, hey, can you do all the prep and like set up and pull down of all the podcast stuff? You know what I mean?
I just don't know what the right question to ask. I think it's like maybe it's got to be personal, and it's got to be what means something to you.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing to work. Maybe the right thing to point the arrow or steer the ship at, whatever, is the thing that becomes meaningful.
Yeah.
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 Maybe it is, like the children's book is like super meaningful. So that is worth,
Yeah. I think you're putting too much weight on like a children's book.
Oh, when I look at that, I look at that as a project of something that you completed and something.
Well, that's
really
an attainable, attainable goal. Like anyone could be like, hey, I'm going to draw a children's book, right? Even if it's the crappiest stick figure children's book, you could say I accomplished that at the end of this, so that you could check stuff off the list. Like I drew a line a day, you know what I mean? And do it by this
do you
time.
ever do the exercise? Have you ever done this one where you really picture being like 95, 96, 97 years old? Yeah. Like really, really put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
And, you're wherever you are, you're at home or you're in care or whatever.
Yep.
And because you're going to get there.
Yeah.
That's out of possibility. That's
really.
100%.
Yeah.
And really kind of projecting forward, but then looking back.
Yeah.
And going.
How do you reflect back on your life?
Yeah. What was I really happy that I did?
Yeah.
And not what you didn't do, but I found that's a really good exercise.
I do as well. I do it in two ways. So I do that where I feel like I'm old and I'm like, am I happy that I spent how much time I did with my family? And did I push myself in my work, the stuff that I enjoy doing, that did enough where I look back and I feel satisfied? What did I produce that I feel great about? So I've had these other goals in my brain that I want to achieve. And so that's why starting the podcast, I've been trying to start this thing for years now, even back when I was in the States. And I was like, oh no, it's just not the right time. It's just not the right time. And I'm like, let's just get it going.
Imagine if you started it 3 years ago.
I know, right?
In that attic at the top of your Seattle house.
Yeah, how good would that have been? In the little loft.
Yeah.
Looking out there.
Acoustics would have been fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Watching out on that Seattle view. So good. Anyway, so like that stuff where I just had to like get it going. Just get moving on it, chipping away. Actually, I've forgotten what we sort of started off on that question. But anyway,
being old and
being old. That's right. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you. So I look at that and I'm like, if I didn't start that because I was so into it, then I would have been, maybe I would have looked back and been like, why didn't I create that opportunity just to have fun, shoot the shit with people I know, or even and have this idea. And to me, it's all about, I think when I look back, I would want some idea that grew bigger than what I could have imagined what it did. And if I achieve that in whatever one of the ideas that I'm passionate about, then I would be like, I'll be like, sort of did that.
The idea becomes its own thing.
Yeah. Like it would be funny if this drawn to your story becomes a thing where people listen to the podcast and then they start doing illustrations or music or something based on that.
Something where there's a little glitch and something happens that you couldn't have predicted. And that's so wonderful, and that only happened. I thought I was starting this, but this is really what I was starting.
Exactly. There's a community based around whatever. Stop trying to will it into... Well, then you talk about manifesting it stuff into, like, there's a part of me, I remember I would have been 9 or 10 and I walked past a surf shop and I was like, I want to work at a surf shop one day. I rarely surfed. I didn't skate at that point. And then later on, I'm managing surf shops and stuff like that.
Skate shop
and skate shops and stuff like that.
That's right.
But I don't 100% believe that. But also I think if you're going to put it out there, you're probably going to start saying yes to things that lead you in that direction.
It's an interesting topic. Hey? I like, it's not my thing. I let people, that's their thing. But where I think the real truth in it is you're gonna move towards these things that you think about.
Well, that's what I think as well.
It puts it in focus.
The manifestation isn't the fact that if I say it in the mirror 100 times, someone's going to walk through the door.
No, mate.
No way. None of that stuff. But if I put in my brain where, hey, I really want to do a children's book. And then I'm like,
If it helps you connect some dots.
That's the thing is I think it makes you go, now what's the next step? So what's that next door that I have to walk through to get that? But, or it even, if it sort of makes you look at like, maybe even you start looking at stuff on Instagram, you're like, oh, someone's got camels? Oh, I wonder what it would be like to walk camels across there. Oh, so you start looking in camels and you're like, oh, and then you find a link that's, oh, I'm selling camels. Oh, maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
I wish it was that easy, Matty.
I know. Yeah. But you get what I mean? It's just
I know
like,
exactly what you
your
mean.
brain start, so you guys...
It puts it on your radar.
Yeah. Well, you guys wanted the some grand thing, adventure that you wanted to be able to achieve, right? It didn't matter that it was the camels or whatever.
Sure.
But you met like the manifestation to me is the fact that you had that thought and then you made something go forward. Now, if you're like, I want to win an Oscar, and you're just like, but I'm just going to sit on the couch and do that, that's not going to work. But if you're like, I want to win an Oscar, maybe I should go be in the improv class up in Perth or something like that. I'm going to do that. And then you're like, okay, oh man, maybe I'm going to see the short, be in someone's short film. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It can slowly, but you just put that in your brain.
Yeah. Brings it all into frame a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I think so as well. So, did you manifest going on to Australian Ninja Warrior?
Matty, I've never manifested in my life and will never manifest.
Mum, I don't manifest by myself. I don't manifest by myself.
Can you go blind? Sorry, what was your question? I just played it out for a moment, Matty.
It is... Oh, basically, like, what I wanted to get to is going from walking camels, then... after it, do you go on Australian Ninja Warrior?
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so that was funny. So it happened at the same time. How that came about is, so I've got a rule, right? Yeah. And this is it. So if I hear about something from 3 different sources that are not connected, like I pay attention.
Pay attention.
Yeah. So say if I talk to you today and Matty, you're like, oh man, have you read this? Yeah. And then I run into my
Or if I say, hey, you should get a back tattoo of my face.
Yeah, and then I see someone else and they're like, Jody, you should get a back tattoo of Manny Mitchell's face. I'm like, you
that's
don't
2.
even know Manny Mitchell. And then, and then if I get the 3rd, I'm like, okay, all right. So, and that happened.
I'm going to plant people around.
Yeah. I'll come back.
You got a big man.
Oh,
I got something to show you. I feel so guilty, but I feel like
when I think of my first tat, that's what I think of. Not some small text on my arm or anything. It's like it's your
just a line of camels
mug.
up the arm.
Do you want to be wearing a cap? Or?
Do you want all this hair on?
Yeah. I don't know. It looks like a lot of pain, but that's what happened. So because I don't really watch telly, and I don't, and then I had 3 different people unrelated go, Chody, you'd be good at this, you'd be good at this. I go, so I looked at it, I thought, yeah, why not? The only reason I did that was to do something that was exactly like you said, just outside of like, just really outside. Oh, not what you're comfortable with, but I just thought it'd be a wild experience. Just something.
Well, it's outside of what you've normally doing any way, right?
That's right. So that was as an experience, it was really good. It's really good. I do find it difficult with and this is just probably personally and I probably shouldn't care so much, but I believe a lot of people look at what you've done and have an idea about why you've done something, and the reasons I did that was so far removed from what I think perception of reason. But as an experience, then our family got involved and like my niece and nephew coming over and
I was watching the clip last night.
Oh like really cool family record to have that together, and my sister's pregnant during it. Now I've got this beautiful niece and so like that's where it is for me. And that's all it is.
Was the application process hard?
There's tryouts and stuff like that, and but Yeah, they're a TV show. They want a story.
Yeah, and that's why when you're like, I've got the camel.
Yeah,
and did they do any backs? Like,
they did all. They do all backstories. So
did they do like bring a camera to you and like?
Yeah, they did.
Wow,
they did. Yeah, while we were out training in Kalamunda.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty funny experience. But I do look at that stuff pretty lightheartedly.
Yeah,
if that's a good word.
I think that I can imagine when I seen that you were going to be on that. I was like, I never thought, oh, Chody's doing it for this fame or to show off his body. Or like,
he doesn't do stuff for fame. I'm so beyond fame, buddy.
I know. That's why I didn't look at it like that way.
0 out of 100 of importance.
Yeah, I looked at it literally like, oh, and I thought it might have been someone. I didn't even think that you would have seen it on TV and gone like, I'm going to do that. I thought someone would have been like you said,
maybe we do know each other really well when we don't catch up all the time. Yeah.
But I actually thought it was more like, hey, my friend's a TV producer for them. I think you should go try it out. Like even like that much of a like not forced into it, but like an opportunity of like, oh, whoa, okay, I'll just take this, and you just jump on, you ride it.
Yeah. Yeah,
get what I mean?
Very, very much.
Yeah,
very much so. A little bit different, but it's sentimental.
That's how I've seen it from the outside perspective.
Exactly.
So the overall experience is just a fun.
Yeah, man.
Give it a try.
Literally an experience.
Yeah.
And
did you have a goal of how far you thought you could get?
Oh man, I live in my own head, and it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Everything. Like so, I found out I got into that I was in LA.
Yeah.
Just traveling, had a comp for some police. And they had this police and fire games in LA.
Yeah.
Went over into. I think did I see you that trip? Might have been the trip before.
Yeah.
Maybe the trip. Anyway, I found out I got in.
Yeah.
I was like, it's 6 weeks away. So I started training.
Yeah.
Then for it. But it's all unpredictable. It's real. Like you don't touch anything. The first time you touch it, when you get up. Oh, it's wild. And those rigs are huge. Like they don't look big on telly. And then you kind of do it, and then it comes out 6 months later, and you've forgotten about it, and you're doing other stuff in your life anyway. And,
oh wow!
But I what happened? I made a semi. I scraped into a semi. I don't know how.
I've got a semi right now.
Do you, Matty? Don't draw that. You'll run out of 2B. And then I look at it as. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A really good experience.
How quickly do they interview after your fall?
Oh, man. They're there.
They're right there. So did you, like, when I heard your answer, I was like, that's classic Chody. Like, he's not, like, bigging up himself.
I can't even remember what
I think he said something like, oh, man, like, that's a lot tougher than it looks. And then the guy was like, that looks pretty tough. We're not fooled by it. And then, like, what's it like going with, compared to the Camels or something? And you're like, that looks pretty tough. That's pretty tough. Did you think about any of like, what am I going to do when they interview me? No, I didn't.
No way. No. I do set some rules for myself with stuff I do, and because there's no like, I think like you can prepare seriously. You can like whatever you do.
Yeah.
Do, like I said before, like do everything you can, but then you got to go and do it.
Yeah.
But the other part I missed with that is, when you do something, whatever happens, you gotta be able to. Not be too attached to it, see some humor in it, have some fun, and get over stuff. So like my rule for that was, end up in the water or whatever. So come off a thing, which will happen. The second like you hit the water, like enjoy it. Like it's all good. Like, it's not.
I feel like that is your mentality throughout a lot of stuff, though.
Go hard, but
but enjoy the ride for what it is.
Exactly. Do the work.
Yeah.
Get as much as you can out of it.
Yeah.
But exactly. But you still got to be a good person. Amongst all of that, there's no point doing anything, and whether it's that, and there's no point doing anything like that if you don't get that part right.
I would have been. I think if I was as fit as you and got that far, I probably would have had a goal of like how far I set, but I would have been disappointed in myself. Like I probably would have been like, fuck, damn it, like come on. And I think I would have had to be conscious of me looking like I was being a dick on TV, but I was just being harsh on myself.
Yeah. That can happen. Yeah, I can see that happen with lots of people as well.
And then you sort of had to step back.
And there is a difference.
Yeah. I definitely, like, if you like get off and you're like, oh, man, that was wet, or like whatever. Like you're just like, no,
yeah.
like hang on, I just
they like the emotion.
yeah, they definitely.
And it's late, it's like 11, 12 o'clock at night. You've been there from 6 in the morning. You're knackered, so yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's good fun, man.
Yeah, it just looked like a bunch of fun.
Got to come back and then get straight back into.
Did you? Did you ever want to do it again, or are you like one and done?
Oh, I only do what I've got a desire to do.
Yeah.
I'd love to get up a wall.
Yeah, I wonder if that would play in my mind. I've been like, if I give it another shot,
but I just don't care enough, buddy, about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Really deeply about some other stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I don't know, maybe.
And there's another West Australian guy, Adam Chatfield, who's really into that circuit.
Great fella.
Yeah, he's rad.
Yeah. He's another Mandurah boy, I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I went to school with his
big beard.
Yeah, he does.
Good dude, man.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
He has a great like a boat detailing place and car detailing.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Good athlete.
Yeah,
amazing on the bars.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. I don't know him well,
but he's like really involved in the community of like climbing and.
That's right. Yeah, and there is a really big community in that arena. It's good. I like those activities, no matter what they are. That where the priority is the community. Yeah. Before the activity. Yeah. But don't mix those up. You still got to do well.
Yeah.
Do that properly, but yeah.
So, on to the next question. We've spoken about your body and how fit you've been. One of the things that sort of popped...
It's just a weird line, Matty.
Is it? So, all right, wait for it, because I think it might get a little weird. So, I was listening to a podcast with Dak Shepard, Rob McKinley, and Kamal, I think you say is Najani. And so...
Who are they? Because we've got different interests.
So. Okay, so Dak Shepard is an actor, but he does this great podcast where he's like just pretty open and raw. He's super intelligent and he's like really interested in learning about people. But anyway, but he Rob McKinley is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Kamal is one of the new faces of like Marvel. But he had to get ripped for it.
Yep.
And so he's like was all over Facebook and Instagram, people posting about it.
Sure.
Because he was a comedian and he was like a doughy sort of body like I am, but then has just been jacked. But and Rob McKinley on Always Sunny in Philadelphia went from having a decent body, then he just, as the joke for the show, let himself get really fat over one of the series. Okay. One of the seasons, and then the next one he got super ripped for it, and that was like the characters coming out of the closet season. Yeah. But like they didn't really. The joke was they didn't talk about it through the series. Like it wasn't. Happened? It just sort of like happened, and then they sort of anyway.
Is that what all this is about, Matty?
No. Yeah.
Are you getting jacked?
I would love to.
That long sleeve button up t-shirt. What's hiding under there, buddy?
You do not want to see. I'm on the pudgy side of this coin.
It's literally painted on. It's drawn on.
That would have been so good. I wish I had the fort side. Just had it ripped.
The stencil.
Just spray painted, but it's with like purple spray paint or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, so these guys they're really ripped, and what they found is they get more compliments from guys than they do their own wives, from girls or anything. So they say there's this like the guys appreciate looking at other guys more than what so much the women do. I'm sure there's women that appreciate it, like I do a really fit woman. But how do you find that being like just in the public cruising around? Are you getting like compliments of guys? I'm just interested because these guys have sort of spoken about it and are famous, and you may be the most fit person I know.
Thanks, Matty. That is a weird question.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I knew.
It's cool. I expect weird from you sometimes, Matty.
Yeah, good.
And I see how you've left it to a little bit later. You're like, I'll get Steve really relaxed, and then I'll throw this at him.
Yeah.
To be non-event.
Really?
Like non-event, or I don't know. I've grown up with active people.
So you guys are all in the same. The most people you hang around with, the same sort of boat.
Like attracts like, doesn't it? And not that we're mates because we're fit. Yeah. We're mates because we've probably got similar attitudes.
Yeah, that's all it is. A similar interest, maybe.
That's right. Yeah. And like being fit, it's honestly just a byproduct of like the other enjoyment. Like to be very honest with you, like being active, besides
Yep.
feeling like great, it's for your mind.
Yeah.
Like it's like that is the key.
Yeah.
Like that is it. I don't feel one like myself
Yeah.
or anywhere near capable of what I, because
Yeah.
it's just a bit of effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much effort is it to maintain? Like, how much do you work out a week?
Well, that's a good question. Depends what I've got on. If I'm working towards something, that'll bump it up, but not as much as you think. Like you got to remember that I've like moved and done stuff since I was 5 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's easier to maintain than
To build it up.
Yeah. So I've never had to, like, it's just,
Yeah.
and
Like, 3 days a week, 4 days a week?
oh, no, I try to do something every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I might have a rest day once a week.
Okay.
Go for a walk or something.
So you go into the
active.
gym and like working out, or you like?
Depends.
I did see you running the other day. Went down
did
the
ya?
beach. Yeah, I went to wave and like you just had blown by with your mate shirtless, and I was like, fuck that.
I had a shirt on.
No,
Yes,
you
I
and
did.
you didn't. You both were shirtless.
No, my mate would have had his shirt off. I always run in a singlet.
Maybe
always.
you did. Maybe I'm
Maybe.
just picturing it.
Hey,
Maybe it's
hey,
what I took home.
Is that down near South?
South Beach.
Yeah.
You guys were running into the car park, and
Yeah.
But I feel like you guys ran and you started walking. It looked like you were chatting.
Oh, mate, just finished.
Yeah, and so I had the kids, and I was like, I'm not gonna.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Run over.
I'm seeing Chody Low this week anyway. We can talk about it. I've got time to spray paint myself perfect. But no, to be honest, I'll try to do something every day.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be much.
like an hour a day, half an hour.
Not even. Oh, look. I'll do. I think I'll do an Ironman at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'll have to bump up doing some stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Run a bit more.
The one down in Bustleton.
Yeah, go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go right.
Is that going to be open? You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially in WA, right?
Especially in WA, and I think at the moment because there's no other sports happening, and I know it's something good to point at.
Yeah.
So do that, but oh man, yeah, go to the gym twice a week.
Oh, okay.
Surf, get in the ocean, go running. I think it's really important to like move your carriage. Like you've got it. Like it's no point.
I think I sometimes get it not confused, but I think that my skateboarding is doing as much as running.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's good.
It's still
really
good.
good. And I wouldn't really like the way I look at skateboarding is like expression and fun. And
you got to think it is a lot of hard work. So like we're jumping up and down all the time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But it's not the same as keeping and maintaining.
No, there's something that happens. I won't go into everything because it would be another 5-hour conversation. But, like as a rule of thumb, like if you do 20 minutes where you're just slightly above where you can hold a conversation, and that consistency does really big things.
Yeah.
So, but the same feeling you get maybe sitting down and drawing, and being in flow with that is what I look for when I go running.
I fucking hate running.
At the beginning, it's the worst.
Oh, I've been recently. I would go there'll be a week and I'll be like, I'm making out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll smash it. I'll be like, not smash it like really far, but I'll feel really good. Then as soon as there's a bump that says, oh, you can't do it today because the kids need this or that, I'm like, okay. And then, but it's like 2 weeks until I all right, no, I need to get back in there.
You got to find what you like.
Yeah.
Like with running, like it's like imagine like when you get good at running, it's like holding a pen drawing, and that pen's doing all the work, and your hand is literally just connected to it, and you'll just sit there watching it.
I've never been there with running.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And not everyone has, but it's not. Yeah, you have to find what you like.
Yeah,
and it's really difficult the story you tell yourself about it. And if do I find it hard to go out and do something? Every time. Okay, every time. Every now and then I'm like, I'm really looking forward to doing this.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, no.
Yep.
But there's that second wave. So
yeah,
I know how much satisfaction I get afterwards.
Yeah.
From having done what I said I would do.
Yeah.
And so discipline's way more important than motivation.
Yeah.
If you rely on motivation,
you're
not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really just has to be, this is what I'm doing.
That leads me on to my next question. And it's about your glutes.
I've drawn them.
No. Does having dedication to staying fit make make it easier to say yes to adventures, to all the stuff you do. So you like
Okay.
that's a barrier you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
to worry about.
Don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I can't imagine. Well, with the things that I like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's not a, if I had to think about that as a big part of it,
Yeah.
it would take a lot of energy,
Yeah.
take a lot of time. And I
It's
guess,
another door and room you have to walk through. Yeah.
Like that one's already open. Like
Yeah.
that one sees you and
Yeah.
you're walking around looking
Yeah.
like at the next one. But I think what it does do probably allows you to think a little bit differently because you're not thinking, I have to do this to then get there.
Yeah.
You already have.
Well, you already got that discipline as well to be like, hey, I've got this in my routine.
Yeah, that's
of some sort.
like if there's some, I know how to put this, but if there's something I think I can do well, it's going. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
and then I'll execute it. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it. Like it's not a yes no maybe. It's like if I say I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Then what the result's different. Like
well,
I'm not saying this result will happen.
Yeah.
But will I go and do the work? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of when I think about this from that perspective, a lot of my stuff gets to like 80%. Like I'll come up with an idea and I'll execute it to 80 and then I'll either get distracted by another one. And then same with working out where I'll be like, I'll do it. And I'll be like, I had a gym membership and I was going for like a week straight, but then like my arms are dead for like 5 days. And then I'm like, great, I can't do anything. I'm just a jellyfish. And then that turns into 2 weeks. But then I'll be like, oh no, I'm back into it. Yep, I'm all about it.
Yep.
And then it falls off again.
Yeah.
But I think I need that discipline of like, at this time, this is what happens no matter what.
Yeah, you only do what you book in as well and what you schedule. So like have a plan and by that and don't confuse having that with it having to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I think so many people can't get over inertia with anything because it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to go and sit down and draw for an hour and a half or nothing. And it's like, go out like
very good
20
point.
minutes.
Yep.
And I don't care what you do.
Sure.
Just
if
go
you
out the
started
front
in
door.
your 5 minutes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
Walk around the block.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if that doesn't turn into 20 minutes or whatever, it's just you put on the shoes and you've got out.
Yeah.
And
tiny habits. Like the
tiny habits, Matty. Tiny
habits.
Never dull down or miss or underestimate.
Yeah.
Doing,
and celebrate those little wins.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like stop. Don't think of.
I only did 5 minutes. Be like, I did 5 minutes. Yeah. I did 5 minutes more than I did yesterday.
That might be all you do every day for a month.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So stop comparing.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. So I should take down that picture of you and me next to each other with my head taped on your body.
It's a pretty. Well, you should send a picture. I've got it home, Matty. Just find some form of enjoyment in it, and I'd rely on discipline more than motivation.
Yeah.
Really. If you rely on motivation, it won't
Yeah.
happen.
I seen a good quote is when motivation fails you, discipline's the one that gets you through.
Man, it's the only thing that works.
Yeah.
Like motivate, like the day you wake up or you can do something and you're motivated.
Dream.
Oh man, it's so good. But
so with the last book, the zombie one, there was like it took quite a bit to sort of get through, and there was days where I was just like, I was disciplined enough to go, I have to get up, I have to work on this to get this page done, or redraw this page, or do this.
Yep.
And the discipline got me through more than the motivation of actually being like, yes, I'm so stoked on this, because I'm like, as everyone, I've got kids to do, I've got to do this, but no, I've got to stick at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I agree.
And probably what you'll find is you do it long enough and something happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many people stop something when they're on the verge
of
a breakthrough or of seeing some change.
Yeah.
And it's the amount of people, it's not frustrating because it's not comparing, but just stick with, like, that was the whole thing with the Camels. Man, we was not seeing any change for months.
Yeah.
And then something would change.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is going to happen. And if we had pulled the plug a week earlier, you wouldn't have known how close you were to. So just keep going.
That's the hard part of not knowing how. It's like having a glass that you don't know when it's going to be full.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, is it, like you're pouring.
That's right. So just keep, you got to keep going until something changes.
All right. So I really like that answer to that one. We spoke about.
Does that mean you didn't like all my other answers, Matty? Because you didn't say that for anything else we talked about.
I'll go through and re-edit it, and I'll put I love that answer.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done.
Thanks. So if it
You're
doesn't,
amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I need that validation, Matty.
It seems like the underlying theme for a lot of your adventures and stuff just seems to be, I want to get the most out of life, and whether it's through whatever, I don't want to say whatever means, but whatever sort of opportunity comes across, I'm going to say yes to see if that gets the most out of life.
Yep.
Does that feel like the underlying theme?
Yeah, that's it. It's finding out. Number one, what are you really capable of?
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Where are the limits?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still pretty curious about that one, to be honest. I don't think I've hit it yet.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know what that is. It's like, man, life is this amazing gift. It really is. It can be whatever you want it to be. But
it's so hard to, there's so many people that have hard things going on in their life. And so I feel very grateful for what I have now, but it's hard to, even when I think back to when I was growing up in a dysfunctional household, how much I had it better than other people, right? So what I find hard is, or not find hard, what I try and be more aware of is having the being aware of the tailwind that I have and being grateful for that, rather than being like, oh, that person's tailwind is pushing them hard. You get what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. So always being aware of that.
Yeah.
And appreciative of life.
Yeah, it is. And everything's relative.
Yeah.
And it can almost force you to stop and do nothing if you compare too much.
Oh yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, because some people, inverted commas, are at an advantage, or some people have had it so rough that why is it even important what you're doing anyway, kind of thing as well. And I think it's the wrong way to look at it.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing to do is look at what you do.
Yeah.
Look at what you can do. Go and do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, even if you're someone that, it's hard for maybe you and I to understand people that maybe don't have goals or aspirations. Maybe they're just stoked with what they're doing.
I spend a lot of my time, not a lot.
Yeah.
I do. Sometimes I'll just be driving around and I just don't know what people do.
Oh, I think about before I had kids and I'm like, what did I do before kids? Because I had so much time.
What do people do?
Yeah.
Do they literally just go to work, go home, watch TV? Is that what people do?
I think a lot of people do that sort of thing. But they fill in the time between work, you know what I mean? Because that takes up so much time.
Are they just trying to be entertained? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't try to spend too much time.
Yeah.
I just have no idea what you do if you're not.
What I make sure is I try not to do is and I used to do this a lot more, especially to people I would know. I'd be almost judging them. I'd be like, well, why? Just do something then. Stop being so bored.
And not from just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Pure curiosity.
Now it's out of curiosity. Yeah. But before it'd be especially people I knew, where they would be like, oh man, I don't know. I have no, nothing to do or after work or whatever. And I'd be like, pick something up, anything, and just try it. And if that's your thing of just trying something new, just do it.
And you forget, some people need that kick. They need someone to say that to them.
Yeah.
Or they're just unaware that.
Yeah, I probably said it way too many people.
Yeah, but you probably can, because you were that person. And you start doing stuff. And you're like, well, if I can do this, and so it's. I don't be afraid to be that person that gives a nudge. It's got to be a good nudge.
Good nudge. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't know when they don't want the nudge, but that's a wonderful thing. You get to decide.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough that you get to decide. What you do, but this whole thing's.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's wonderfully crazy, man.
Maybe it'd be more for your family, and but I do a thing to make myself, if I'm ever feeling like I'm not appreciating stuff as much, I will sit back and, like you're doing when you're doing your 9 to 5, I will sit back and think my wife and children have died, and what my life is.
Oh, so you remove the good thing.
So I'm like, what happens if I take this away and like be appreciative of what, like, so I drag everything out, or like I imagine like, and then that be like, okay, be appreciative for what you have. Or if my missus and I are arguing or something like that, and I'm like,
it's cool,
fucking
man.
hell.
Cool.
And then I'll be like, later that day, I'll be like, what would it be like if I didn't have her around?
It's a great, and to be able to pull that into that, to that picture is a really good thing. And I think it probably does something else, and that's from all the things that you can remove, you work out which ones you don't want to remove. Yeah. So it's good. And it's cool. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Maybe I'm sure there's other people that do it for other things, but I think Gary V was doing that. But when he said it, I was like, oh, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, even though I did it, I didn't know I was doing it. It's
funny when someone puts something into words that you do, and they do it really well. And and I think that's what those great people do. Yeah. Man, it's good.
It's good.
It's really good.
So here we are at the tail end of this. We have sidetracked. Talk about trying to sit a straight line in a goal.
Man, I don't know. We're in a room and we're trying to open doors and we're looking at each other and swapping keys, and something's happening in some kind of door maze. Is that what happened?
There was an arrow at one point.
You
were shirtless.
You were painted purple, and I'm running down the road with a budgie on a string. And we've got a friend called Sparkles.
Dang. I should link you to his episode as well.
Yeah. I used to play in a band with that guy.
Oh yeah, it comes up.
Oh, I love him.
He comes up at how you
I haven't seen him in
ripped
ages.
on guitar.
He's he's another and
we should have a dinner here one night.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that because we can play our old songs. I mean, just catch up.
Yeah.
But he's it'd be really interesting actually. I'm looking forward to listening.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen him in ages, and he is. I spent a lot of time with him. Yeah. Through a pretty creative stage, and watching him with his creativity. He's another really creative dude.
Very.
Yeah, off the charts, and real attention to detail, and a really good balance. I don't know now. It was part of him then, so I'm sure it's...
Now he's off the wagon. He just doesn't yet.
No, he doesn't care. Mate, just a really good balance of... weird's not the right word, but like a different type of creativity and view on the world versus a really structured.
Yes.
And I think he's a good bridge for both of those things.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. He's not out of place in a... in a room with creatives and in a room with people who...
that's like his job now, right? Yeah.
Hey, exactly. So, cool, man. That'd be good. Let's do that.
So with his, he won't... maybe I'll send this to him, but so he'll hear it. But his illustration, so is him as a rock star with in an office setting. So he's going to have his like foot up on his laptop. Yeah. I'll show you the sketch.
He'd be like ripping his suit open like Superman. He'd have this, he'd just be full rock. Full punk rock.
And I think he's in rock and the setting is like office.
Nice.
But it's like, is that melding of two worlds, right? Like
that's funny that we both can it's cool.
Really cool.
It's
I
cool.
like that.
We must be onto something, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Sparkles.
Yeah. We got you. We got you dialed, mate. We'd love to that'd be fun to go out to dinner.
Good.
Yeah, and sort.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's organise that. All right, so here I am doing these end questions as well.
Cool.
Right? We've been through it, so we've hit some of the topics and everything like that. What is something you wish you did more of?
More? Honestly, have more fun.
Oh, wow.
I know that sounds funny. It's probably another podcast. I do so much to push in some other directions.
Yeah.
I forget to have some fun.
Yeah,
sometimes.
What sort of fun stuff?
Yeah, exactly. I was a bit worried about a while ago because I didn't know what I did for fun anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I did all the stuff that satisfied me. It was really, really...
Did you find like surfing was still one of those things that just satisfied you, but it wasn't...
Oh, no. That became one of the fun things.
Oh, okay.
So that's when that became, every minimum once a week, twice a week.
Yeah.
And that's where that all came from. Yeah, man. Yep. So trying to really incorporate some pure fun for fun's sake back into, man, fun.
Cool.
This is fun.
This is fun? I'm glad. You had no idea what you were getting into.
I didn't know what I was
going to say. Yep, I'm in. All right.
Matty Mitchell asked me something. I'm in.
You have to wear a shirt with a slogan on it for a year. What does the slogan say?
What does the slogan say? Oh, man. See, this is where I wish I was as creative as you. Oh, that's what it would say. I want to be as creative as Maddie Mitchell.
We're not taking that as an answer.
Come on, it's pretty good.
No, it's not.
Man, that's it. So it's a blank shirt. Where am I wearing this? Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Maybe like be nicer to each other would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think, man, like and we're not.
You wear a lot of white shirts. Maybe you could just start that.
Yeah, I don't. Or maybe something like tone it down on the conspiracy theories. Probably a good one
we definitely.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
I love. This is the thing. I love hearing about these conspiracy theories, but it's because they're to me in my brain they're fake.
Same.
So that's why it's enjoyable.
Yes, but then you got the layer under it.
Oh my gosh!
And it's really got the mind of a lot of people, and that's where an idea, can really turn.
Yeah.
So I'm the same as you, man. I love it, and I'm like, and then you're like, man, there's people out there that
really believe. That's what makes it unenjoyable. It's like there's people that believe that's so
and
real.
It's really good to be open-minded, and it's really important to be skeptical.
Yeah, I agree.
But when the cynicism ties in with it, and the absolutism, like that's the way it is.
Yeah,
I'm always aware of those two things. Hey? Yeah. It's something.
I
probably
fully
share
agree with
something
that.
like that. It's a long word to write on a shirt.
It's just a full paragraph on the back.
Yeah.
Shout out some people that you get. Shout out some people that you get stoked on.
Wow, that's a good question. Oh man,
It can be from like, it can be someone famous if you want, or it can be like an athlete, or it can be just some people that you work with or family, and you're just like,
maybe it's something I need to work on. Like, to be honest, I'm coming up blank.
Yeah.
But then when I think about it, the people that I like people that give me energy.
Yeah.
Would be a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Yeah, I really like those people you walk away from.
Yeah.
And like your belief about the world and where we're heading and what we're doing is actually like it's all right. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm just in this funk at the moment where there's so much going on. Like I think it's a public conversation, and it is social media, but there's so much out there that not necessarily negative, but it's like, man, we're not pushing this thing in a good direction.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And we're just hearing from the ones.
Well, even when you look at the statistics on how bad, and just talking about humans in general, how bad we treated each other before, and how progressive it's scooped up in positivity just in the last like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, scooped up in that is amazing in itself, but it's so hard not to sit here and then you hear about the runner that got shot in America because he was on a jog, and you hear that like, and you're just like, how is it Ahmad or something like that? Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's really important. And this is the problem where it's difficult because we give so much attention, and look, that's a bad instance because that is what you should be giving attention to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an atrocity.
Yeah,
but for other things, not on that level.
Yeah,
it's an easy lens. It's an easy news
it's
story.
So much, why is it so much easier to go negative than it is positive?
Well, the reason,
like fear-based stuff, right?
Yeah, well, they're the kind of things historically that probably could kill us, so we have to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
but we do it now. There's like a lust for it from
an
information point of view. But yeah, it's hard, man. But to answer your question, I can't give you a name. And maybe I'll work on it. Maybe it's something to look at. But
I'll tell you what, because this stuff isn't out on social media and won't be live yet, you hit me up and we'll I'll give you an insert into here, or we'll like.
Sweet. I like it because there's people I really respect.
Yeah.
And I can't even name them, but I know when I'm around them.
Yeah.
And it's always to do with attitude.
Do you know what we do? I think we should also, maybe, this is me taking my ideas maybe, but have a conversation. We come back with a podcast, do another session, and we hit the topic of like what people influence us and how, and then how we've drawn in different bits of energy, and then how we've processed that into stuff that we've done.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I reckon that's because that's what happens.
Yeah, it really is,
That's
right?
what happens.
Yeah.
There'd be some pretty cool links
Yeah.
to make, man. Yeah, let's do it. I overthink, but because I know they're out there and
Yeah.
I know it because I walk away from them and I'm like, do you know what it does? And this can sound corny as hell.
Yeah.
But they actually make you want to be better.
Yeah.
That you go, that's a standard.
Yeah.
You see, it's an unconscious standard.
And it's not just in like, hey, better as in like a human being of being kinder and nice. It might be like, hey, that person's really good with their money financially. I need to be a little bit better.
All aspects.
Yeah, everything.
All
right?
aspects.
The big gamut.
Yeah, man. And the flip side is you walk away when you know what you don't like.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you can learn.
I think that's a skill
much from that
that
as
people
well.
need to learn more. Like
I think it's normal, but I pay attention to that. And
yeah,
you
I
probably
think
do
I
too,
do as well. But I think
probably
mine was
just rubs off.
a survival thing of like growing up
Yeah.
around people that I grew up around and being like, whoa, that's too far, or I'm not going to go do that with you, and knowing when to pull the pin. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, go along, and then you're too deep.
Yeah, man. It's another wormhole we can go down.
Definitely. But maybe that's another podcast. Maybe we have a round table with
man.
other people and do that.
That could be really cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
I like it.
That's a further. Last two questions. What is one failure that you learnt the most from?
Oh, I've had a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm still making them.
Yeah. I think when you recognize the failures for what they are, then you the earlier you recognize that failures are almost like a good thing, that like you are going to learn that piece and you keep that information with you, even if you have to relearn it, but you sort of have a little bit more of an edge on that next.
I struggle with that because when I have failed, I flip the script a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't try not to dwell too much
Yeah.
on maybe what's gone wrong. Like I'll try to learn the lesson or look at the other angle.
Yeah.
So I don't really like hang on to these big failures. But I don't know. I'm a terrible guess because I'm giving you no clear answers. But
oh yeah, no, we've only been going for 2.5 hours. That's
yeah, wow. Yeah, it's only you and me listening to this anyway, Matty.
there's not one that just sticks out, or do you?
I wish there was.
Or is it? I think your answer is maybe.
Because I actually feel like I've failed at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a collective thing, and I can't put my finger on it, but it's probably like
the
lots
fact
of
that
little moments, if that makes more in probably behavior than event, if that makes sense. That's probably more in and as part of learning. Maybe, and nothing that's ended up being destructive or anything. Yeah, but just where maybe where you fall below what you expected yourself, and would be more of where I would go that than an actual event. But being human is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
sometimes
very much so.
You can learn a lot, and they are really valuable if you can if you can look at it the right way.
I think that's a big thing. Like how you take that failure is how you view it, and even if you've got the ability, like you were saying, to take yourself out of it and be like view it from a different perspective. Yeah. That is worth its weight in gold. Yeah,
it is. And it's amazing how much you come back to always looking at things through like the way I experience the world and how I look at things. And I think that's why we talk to people, don't we? It's another perspective, it's another angle. And like I can't shift this. Yeah. Maybe Maddie can. Yeah.
I've always said that the people that, when you talk about, look at stuff from a different angle. Like if you say, look at it from 180 degrees away. Well, you're just looking backwards. To me, I'm like, even if you just go, hey, I'm looking 5 degrees that way and 5 degrees that way, you're seeing so much more.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why when all like apps at work, like Instagram and stuff, they blow up because they've gone, this is what everyone's used to doing. Let's just move the dial this way. So it's still in their comfort zone. Yeah. But anyway,
I love how your brain works as well. Like everything comes back to like an app.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but spot on. Yeah, and you're right. But it's an important exercise. Trying to look at things differently. It is. It's easy to say, not easy to do. Yeah. I think that's why we need other people. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Last one. What are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Oh man, I can list like 100 this morning.
Yeah. So
I-
my wife and I do this every night. So we
Same.
say to each other, and we'll be like, "Hey, we try and do it every night, but
Yeah.
you don't get it all the time." But it can be something like, "Oh, I'm grateful I had my favorite pen to sketch with today," or a huge thing where I'm so grateful that where we live, the air is so
awesome.
clean.
Have you heard the 5-minute journal?
No.
Same thing. Like you can buy it, and it's got those
Yeah.
things. There's a really good book by Martin Seligman called. He wrote Authentic Happiness, and then this book called Flourish. Sounds like airy, but he's amazing psychologist on positive psychology, but not the wanky positive psychology stuff that actually works. And that's the biggest one. 3 things you crave every day.
Yeah, wow.
That's it. So what are they?
Yeah.
Oh man, today, like I'll just go from today. You know, I got up before the sun got up.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, that was
What time did you go to bed then the night before?
last night. Maybe like 10:30, 11,
Oh, dang.
which is whatever.
Is that a little bit late for you? Or
Oh man, I'd love to go to bed at 8, but
really?
yeah,
I'm such a night owl. Like my mornings are like walking through like sludge. My nighttime though, like it's 12 and I'm like,
man,
let's get it.
I know, I'm the same.
If I didn't have kids.
Yeah, man, I'm the same. But I'm not saying I felt good when I got up, but I got up.
You got up, yeah. So that's the
discipline.
grateful, yeah.
Yeah, so doing that, to see my mate, to go surfing, that you know, that was definitely like number one.
Yeah.
You know, like that's so simple.
Yeah.
But you know, that's one thing. Man, like being able to do something like this, really cool. Just to like catch up and you know, and talk's been really good. I never take my health for granted, hey, and I think that's why I look after it.
Yeah.
I know what every little bit you do will either like pushes you in the right direction or it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, so man, I feel pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the work.
Yeah.
But so mate, but that list, honestly, man, and like small stuff is big stuff.
Yeah.
You just gotta pay attention.
Yeah, I fully agree. Stay in that moment a bit.
I like it, Matty.
Yeah.
It's good.
Is there anything you wanted to shout out before we go?
Not really, man. I think, I don't know if I've talked to you about doing a podcast before. You were the right man to do one, hey. I think it's in, like, it's just in your spectrum of what you should be doing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Keep it going, man. Like
thank
when
you.
you're at episode 300,
Yeah.
I want you to come back and cut this little bit out. and go, man, Jody knew where I was walking. But it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And keep it.
If I do an episode 300, I'll just try and do one of those like compilation of having people come through the podcast real quickly.
Yeah. You get to cheat when you've done heaps. You can go, these are my favourite ones. And
Oh no, I was meaning like actually like live, like or like you can't like
through the,
but like have people like you get 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You got to come
love
bang, bang, bang.
That's
It'd be
wicked.
really fun
That's
to do something like
we'll
that.
all interview you. Man. Nah, good work. Get it out there.
Thank you. There's nothing on yours like you don't want to.
No.
You're not really on like your social media is not like.
Oh man, it's just not my thing. Hey,
yeah, no.
Like I'm there, but I don't know. I just
Is there any charities that you are a part of or like?
I was with Melanoma WA for a long time.
Yeah.
I think they do some really good stuff. I like the local stuff.
Yeah.
I think your backyard's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
And even simpler than that, never hesitate to do something small. Like it doesn't have to be charity. It doesn't have to, like, if you can do something, do it. Yeah. You know. But I like how I think it's a good avenue for you to go down as well, mate.
Yeah.
But do something in your own backyard and give it some value. It's real.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks,
It's
Matty.
been great. I've had so much fun.
Man, I can't wait to see some pictures.
Yeah.
Be kind.
You're going to be nothing but Ugg boots.
Oh, I love it. Cheers, man.
All right. Cheers, mate. I'm so grateful you'd be here. Thanks so much for listening. If you want to see how I reimagined the interview into an illustration, please head over to Instagram and follow @DrawnToYourStory. If you'd like to own your own print of the illustration, take yourself over to mattymitchellbooks.com/DrawnToYourStory and you can grab one there. You can also watch the drawing in progress and listen to the interview at the same time over at YouTube. Just search Drawn to Your Story. For more illustrations, creativity, and a touch of shenanigans, follow @MattyMitchellBooks. Thanks so much, guys, and I can't wait for the next one.